Chapter 2081, Luck of Fong Yuan's Clones. 2081 Luck of Fong Yuan's Clones. Second to the Qi Si clones' luck was Wu Shuai's luck. His luck had weakened by a lot. Dragon Palace was destroyed and could not be constructed within a short period of time, the 4 dragon generals were dead, and even Di Zongsheng was suppressed in Heavenly Court. Wu Shuai's luck still had the flying dragon's form. This was closely related with his dragon man identity. When observed carefully, Wu Shuai's dragon luck seemed to be formed from ants. The countless ants gathered to form an ant-dragon luck. Besides handling the variant human alliances affairs as my representative, Wu Shuai is researching enslavement path methods to increase his battle strength. This is why there is the ant-dragon luck. Fong Yuan observed his time path clone's luck. The time path clone's luck was still in the shape of a miniature river of time. But compared to before, it was much more vast and the water was flowing rapidly. Zhan Budu's eagle luck had not changed much. But Li Xiaobai's luck had a huge change in appearance. His luck had been a blooming flower with thin layers of nectar in its pistil, which signified how Li Xiaobai's cultivation would improve back then. But now, his luck's appearance had changed into a white wall. There were 3 poems on the wall with different lengths. When read carefully, it was clear they were the 3 masterpiece poems that Li Xiaobai had created. Every letter of the poem was pitch black, which was even more conspicuous on the white wall. Moreover, countless dark, inky characters were flying around the white wall, about to fly into the wall. This is his poem wall luck. Fong Yuan realized in his mind. After Li Xiaobai obtained the book house inheritance, he progressed rapidly, walking on the path of becoming renowned in the world. Not only did he change his vital gu, he also roamed the world to collect poems, and formed 3 killer moves with the poems he created, copied and stole. These 3 information path killer moves made him the #1 gu master in profound literature Grotto Heaven and also the gu immortal seed who was looked upon favorably by countless people. There were even discussions saying he was a talent that was hard to come by in several hundred years. Li Xiaobai's outstanding achievements naturally attracted old immortal Hua Yu's attention. There were all kinds of indications that old immortal Hua Yu had decided to nurture Li Xiaobai with all his strength. The Qi Si clone and Fong Yuan's main body were aware of Li Xiaobai's recent condition, but they did not interfere and only watched from the side. Back when Fong Yuan had created Li Xiaobai, it was to scheme for profound literature Grotto Heaven's information path inheritance to fill the deficiency in his information path aspect. However, because profound literature Grotto Heaven was an information path Grotto Heaven with extremely strict monitoring, Fong Yuan could not give too much support and Li Xiaobai had to move ahead by himself. The result was that only after Fong Yuan had gone through the Fate War, the Pursuit Battle, killed Spectral Soul, and resolved the issue of Heaven Path Dao marks did Li Xiaobai finally show some advancement and progress. Moreover, profound literature Grotto Heaven was also in the Righteous Qi Alliance. Most of the contents of its information path true inheritance could be obtained through the internal exchange between Righteous Qi Alliance members. This was life. Sometimes, plans could not keep up with changes, sometimes, changes could not catch up to plans. Like this, the chess piece Li Xiaobai had a new arrangement. So, Fong Yuan was going to let him develop naturally. Last was the Pure Dream clone's luck. The Pure Dream clone was still at rank 5 level. The Pure Dream Reality Seeker physique body would attract dream path calamities and tribulations when undergoing immortal ascension. Even the current Fong Yuan did not have confidence to deal with it. But the Pure Dream clone's luck had also changed. His luck was like a drifting pink fog that fluctuated constantly. But this lump of pink fog had condensed now, becoming a sandbox. The sandbox was still pink in color, it was very small but yellow sand entered it continuously, turning into pink sand that strengthened the sandbox. Sandbox luck, what is this trying to say? Even Fong Yuan was puzzled. After activating wisdom path methods, Fong Yuan's eyes shone sharply as he made some guesses, but they had to be confirmed. Fong Yuan counted, unknowingly, he had already created 8 clones. Creating these clones was one of the gains Fong Yuan had from studying Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul relied on clones to create Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance. Fong Yuan's clones also gave him huge help. Among the 8 clones, only Fong Dichang was sacrificed. Ha! Wait, this is. Fong Yuan suddenly discovered a piece of luck. This piece of luck was vague, almost transparent, and gave an extremely weak feeling. Fong Yuan had almost missed it, but after carefully observing it, he showed pleasant surprise. This is Fong Dichang's luck. He is still alive. During the Fate War, Fong Yuan was schemed by Genesis Lotus, not only losing Divine Beam Palace but also Fong Dichang. Such a long time had passed, Divine Beam Palace had already combined with Emperor City to form Divine Emperor City, becoming the #1 immortal Gu house in the world. Fong Yuan thought Fong Dichang was already done for. But he had never expected to gain some clues from this round of luck inspection. How did I not discover it before? I see. Cooking luck pot has just advanced to rank 8, my luck inspection method is many times more powerful than before. Also, it is clear that Fong Dichang made some progress in this recent period of time. Combining both of these causes, my connection with him was strengthened by a lot and I am able to see his luck now. Although Divine Emperor City possessed painting worlds, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, who had left behind the killer move Contented Lifestyle, was active before Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Because of this, Divine Emperor City was rather weak in the aspect of luck path. Discovering Fong Dichang was alive and strengthening himself, this was a pleasant surprise. But Fong Yuan did not change his plan. He had no plans to attack Divine Emperor City in the short term. Divine Emperor City was not a Gu immortal, its methods were fixed and hard to change, it was not a problem to let it be. And Fong Yuan was a pseudo-venerable who had finally gotten the opportunity to rest and recuperate safely, it was a splendid time for him to focus on cultivating. 4-element square regret blood refinement pool was constructed and most of the grotto heavens had yet to be devoured, Fong Yuan's strength would soar without stopping now. Why would he take the risk during this precious period of time to fight Divine Emperor City? After inspecting his and the clone's luck, Fong Yuan understood a lot. Cooking luck pot could allow Fong Yuan's main body to greatly increase his clone's luck, but Fong Yuan did not do so. On one hand, the situation of both the main body and the clones was much better. After getting through the previous predicament, their luck was spontaneously rising, it was the so-called, when misfortune reaches the limit, good fortune starts to rise. So there was no necessity. On the other hand, what this consumed was not immortal essence, but the luck of Fong Yuan's main body. After all, it increased the clone's luck by using the luck inside the pot. I should refine Wood Path Immortal Gu now. Fong Yuan once again invested in his Gu refinement project. As for why he chose Wood Path, the reason was simple. Fong Yuan had gathered a lot of Wood Path immortal materials and they were enough for refinement. The variant human alliances Xiao He Jian and Green Forest Great Sage were rank 8 mini-man Gu immortals, their grotto heavens were Wood Path grotto heavens which provided enough Wood Path immortal materials. Let's first raise Immortal Gu Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus to rank 8. Divine Emperor City, Painting World. In the newly added Growling Beast Painting World, a camp was being constructed rapidly. The camp's location was selected after careful thought, it was in a strategically located area and there was a stream flowing near it. Zhao Shuyi was standing on a boulder and commanded the 100 craftsmen in constructing the camp. Although Craftsman Gu has weak battle strength, it has broad usage. Fairy Bai Xia was standing beside Zhao Shuyi and praised as she looked at the busy work site. Zhao Shuye's head immediately lifted as he said proudly, "It is our Fairy Bai Xia who has good foresight." Craftsman Gu's prospects are much higher than Thief Gu, Soldier Gu, and Officer Gu. Besides processing immortal materials and constructing Gu houses, it can also refine Gu. Fairy Bai Xia nodded, "Yes, if not for your Craftsman Gu, how could we have constructed 10 camps and explored deeper into the Growling Beast Painting world? But, how can you control so many craftsmen alone? This is an enormous burden to the mind. Did you use Organization Gu?" Organization Gu was a type of human path Gu worm which allowed human Gu to form a group. Fong Dichang's sect token Gu was also of this type. Zhao Shuyi laughed heartily and did not hide it, "Right, I used labor union token Gu and constructed a labor union. I am carrying union head Gu and gave supervisor Gu to 12 or so high-ranked craftsman Gu. I have given one vice union head Gu out as well and still have 3 in my hand. No need to hurry, as my labor union continues to grow, they will have ample scope to show their abilities." The two were discussing when the emergency bugle was played. Fairy Bai Xia's expression had a slight change. Beast groups came to attack again. Zhao Shuyi said indifferently, with Xiao Qixing and others here, we don't need to worry. Sure enough, at the next moment, Xiao Qixing's voice spread throughout the camp, all forces, attack. Thump 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 thump. There was a series of footsteps, and as the white smoke was blown away by the wind, the wide camp was filled with soldiers. Soldier Gu were in the highest number. There was the small group leader level Sergeant Gu, Lieutenant Gu, the higher-ranked Captain Gu and even Chief Captain Gu were used. The size of Xiao Qixing's army had increased again in this period of time. Divine Emperor City was truly the sacred land of human path cultivation. The army charged towards the beast tide, both sides collided like huge sea waves. After the stalemate lasted for a while, the orderly battle lines began to show uneven gaps. A large number of wild beasts and soldiers had died in the most intense areas. Immediately after, these gaps were filled by soldiers and beasts. Roar! Several powerful beasts appeared. Their size was clearly larger than others, like fortresses rampaging on the battlefield. Xiao Qixing's expression showed a trace of seriousness. The deeper we go in, the stronger the beast groups are. Everyone, please make your moves. All right. Chen Dejiang, Gu Ting, and the rest began to attack. This large battle lasted for an hour. The beast tide retreated, and there were casualties in Xiao Qixing's group as well. After half a day, the camp's construction was finished. The supply group along with merchants, peddlers, citizens, and even beggars settled in the camp. These camps were like the strongest nails that were firmly fixed in their position, becoming the support for the 10 children of human path to explore deeper. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2082, Defeated Army. Chapter 2082, Defeated Army. Sect Leader. Sect Leader. Fong Dichang walked to a hidden corner of the camp where he was greeted by 2 to 3 beggars. Fong Dichang also had a beggar's appearance with ragged clothes and foul odor coming off of him. The 10 children of human path organized a large army and entered the newly appeared growling beast painting world, playing the role of pioneers. At every set interval of distance, they would construct a stable camp before the logistics and support came to fill the camp, giving ample supplies to the army led by the 10 children of human path. Fong Dichang had been following in secret and also mobilized beggar sect to look for an opportunity. How is the situation? Fong Dichang asked. Our sect brothers have been following the pioneering army. Sect leader, the situation is good. We gathered many wild beast corpses and valuable skin and fur. We are going to be rich. It is just that we got into a conflict with some merchants and guards because of this. Fong Dichang frowned. What are the casualties? His beggar sect developed quickly. Its members were not only the human path Gu worms he used, there were also many of Divine Emperor City's native beggars. Hearing the number of casualties, Fong Dichang's frown became deeper. Although beggar sect is easy to grow, beggar Gu are the cheapest human path Gu worms with very low battle strength. They are disadvantaged when facing merchants, guards, and others. Only by uniting and forming a numbers advantage will they not suffer losses. Fong Dichang sighed inwardly. Beggar sect seemed to be enormous but it did not have much strength. It was not reliable to use beggar sect to deal with the 10 children of human path in the future. Fong Dichang entered the 10th camp, but the 10 children of human path had already marched even further and were constructing the 12th camp. I can only rely on the beast tide now. The deeper we enter growling beast painting world, the stronger the beasts become. Fong Dichang's only hope was for the beast tides to defeat the 10 children of human path. Not only defeat, it would be even better if they suffered serious loss with casualties. Only then would Fong Dichang have an opportunity to exploit. I can do nothing about this, my current strength is too low. The only thing I can use is beggar sect. The 10 children of human path are all Gu masters and possess primeval essence, they can only maintain their human path Gu worms for some time. But I am using Xianxia's immortal essence, which is akin to unlimited primeval essence, so I can maintain these beggar Gu all the time. As Fong Dichang thought up to this point, his gaze suddenly darkened and a feeling of weakness spread from the depths of his body. Fong Di-chang quickly took out human will gu and placed it in front of his nose, breathing in deeply. A gust of human will was absorbed into his body and merged with his will. Fong Di-chang's body was formed from a beggar gu, it did not have a soul and only a will. And a will was difficult to maintain and would be expended rapidly when thinking. Fortunately, in Divine Emperor City's painting world, there was human will gu. Human will gu produced human will, which could change into any form of will. With its help, Fong Di-chang's will could continue to exist and be active. At this time, in the depths of the growling beast painting world, a lifelike will was floating in the air. He was wearing a green and white robe, he had a gentle demeanor and had a smile on his face, he was Genesis Lotus Will. And below him, Mao Li Chiu was lying on the ground in a curled-up position. It was bound by a huge formless force, making it unable to even budge. Not only this, another powerful force was constantly extracting its Dao marks. Dog shit Genesis Lotus, release me and fight me if you have the guts. Mao Li Chiu shouted. Genesis Lotus will shook his head. Mao Li Chiu, are you still not conceding? You are in a hopeless situation, unless Giant Sun Immortal Venerable revives and comes to save you, your death is certain. And you yourself are aware that there is no hope for that. Your only chance at survival is to surrender. Otherwise, as time passes, your strength will continue to fall. Until you die. Genesis Lotus Will urged, his voice was persuasive and his expression was kind. Mao Li Chiu, however, roared in fury, then so be it, I don't want it, you can take all my Dao marks. Genesis Lotus Will was astonished. At the next moment, Mao Li Chiu not only released all his defense but also cooperated with the absorption force, abandoning his Dao marks. Amidst the dazzling profound light, countless Dao marks spread towards the surroundings and entered growling beast painting world. Some Dao marks fell to the ground, turning into giant beasts of all kinds of sizes and shapes, some Dao marks flew to the sky, condensing together into vicious birds that covered the sky. The painting world was extremely profound, it could collect external Dao marks and paint them into all kinds of birds and beasts. But at this moment, with Mao Li Chiu's full cooperation, the painted beasts surged in amount and soon surpassed the safety boundary. Oh no! The expression of Genesis Lotus Will changed, not having expected Mao Li Chiu to be so impulsive. It was suppressed in the painting world, although it had a way to attack, it still had enough strength to defend. If it defended with all its strength, it could last for a long time. Therefore, Genesis Lotus Will came to persuade it to surrender. To Mao Li Chiu, the most sensible path would be to let the painting world wear down its strength bit by bit while holding on for as long as possible. Like what Demon Immortal Qi Ju was doing, he was suppressed by Divine Emperor City and could not break free on his own, but he placed his hopes on the future. Who could be certain of the future? But Mao Li Chiu did not follow this logic, it went against the plan of Genesis Lotus Will. An unprecedented violent beast tide formed and rushed madly towards the army of the 10 Children of Human Path. The 10 Children of Human Path had a huge change in their expressions the moment they saw the beast tide. Retreat, this beast tide is too fierce. Even if we use all our strength, we are not their match. Retreat, the urgent matter is to preserve our energy for later. The 10 Children of Human Path were all elites, they retreated without hesitation. But retreating was not easy, the beast tide was like a tsunami that threatened to drown the world. Many birds moved faster than the beasts and pestered the pioneering army. The 10 Children of Human Path fought a bloody battle and were finally able to carve a path out. When they reached the 11th camp, the whole army was reduced by half, they suffered immense losses. The beast tide continued to rush forward as if it was endless. The camp was constructed properly and had thick defense, but it was quickly showing signs of collapsing under the beast tide's charge. Heavens, looks like we have completely angered these beasts. This beast tide is so fierce, even if we add all the previous beast groups, they are not even 1/10 of this. Retreat. The 10 Children of Human Path retreated to the 10th camp. Fong Di-chang had already left earlier. He had already received the information, and understanding the strength of the beast tide, he knew the 10th camp was definitely going to collapse. Although he wanted to look for an opportunity to retaliate, he did not want to disregard his own safety. In fact, with just beggar sex strength, he might not be able to get revenge even if he staked his life. The 10th camp also fell and was run over by the beast tide. The 10 children of human path could only retreat again and again. The beast tide also paid the price, but the scale was truly too large. It could completely bear the price. Finally, the terrifying beast tide chased away all the humans. The painstakingly built camps were destroyed with not even one remaining. Not even 10% of the troops following the 10 children of human path survived. The other residents of the painting world faced even more severe losses. The surviving group of people were in an extremely miserable state. They were all shocked and terrified. The city gate closed shut. The city guards looked solemn. The beast tide had arrived in front of the city. The ferocious beasts did not stop and began to attack the city. The offensive and defensive battle lasted for 3 nights. The city was actually on the losing end. Many times, giant beasts directly climbed the city walls and carved a path of blood on their way to the inner areas, causing massive casualties. At the crucial moment, large numbers of Divine Being soldiers appeared and participated in the defense, beating back the beast tide. The Divine Being soldiers are working for us. Right. This was Divine Being Palace's killer move, and after we succeeded in slaying the immortal, the Divine Being soldiers became our helpers. The 10 children of human path were shocked and joyous, as well as deeply regretful. Their losses were too severe this time. Almost all their previous accumulations were gone. The only fortunate thing was that none of them had died. Fong Di Chong had already left this city to a much further area. Beggar sex losses were also big. The crushing defeat that Fong Di Chong hoped for had happened, but this level surpassed his expectations. Still, the 10 children of human path helped each other and were united. He did not find any chance to attack them. The beast tide disappeared. The large number of wild beasts returned to Growling Beast Painting World. They scattered everywhere, making the difficulty of exploring Growling Beast Painting World much higher than before. The painting world was like a huge beast that was licking its wound. The claw that had stretched into Growling Beast Painting World earlier had almost shattered. I did not expect Growling Beast Painting World to be so dangerous. It can be deduced the other painting should also be at a similar level. Xianxia found Fong Di Chong. The two exchanged information. Fong Di Chong informed Xianxia about the intel collected by Beggar Sect, for instance, the losses of the 10 children of human path, as well as Yi Fan and Hong Yi's performance in this expedition. And Xianxia informed Fong Di Chong of a huge discovery. Xianxia was the person who had explored the deepest and he witnessed the scene of the beast tide transformation. Using Dao marks to paint, sure enough, painting paths methods are mysterious and exceptional. But if so, Fong Di Chong analyzed, it seems like Growling Beast Painting World is suppressing a great enemy of Heavenly Court in its depths. The battle between the beast tide and the humans is essentially a method to weaken this enemy and increase the suppression. Xianxia approved of Fong Di Chang's analysis as he said, I wonder who is being suppressed inside. They are at least a rank 8 Gu immortal. The enemy of an enemy is a friend, we might have a chance of cooperating. The losses to the army were severe this time, only 1/10 survived. In a short period of time, it should not be possible to organize an exploration army. Do we use this chance to go to the depths of the painting? Fong Di Chong shook his head, no, those beasts don't care about anyone. Xianxia nodded, the gap between immortal and mortal is not large in this painting world. It seems we can only wait for the exploration army to be organized again. We can then take the chance to go deeper. When the large battle between the humans and beasts had settled in the painting world, Fong Yuan had secretly arrived in Mushroom Man Paradise. Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus was successfully raised to rank 8 and Fong Yuan also created a large number of compound killer moves. Over on the Chi Si clone's end, the Chi Si clone contacted Heavenly Court again and again to organize an alliance army to attack Fong Yuan's variant human alliance. But although Heavenly Court had agreed, they did not show any signs of taking action. Such an attitude made Fong Yuan believe the severity of the situation. Mushroom Man Paradise's entrance opened. Lu Weiyin personally welcomed Fong Yuan to the depths of the blessed land. They had just sat down when Fong Yuan asked, is Spectral Soul still alive? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2083, Lu Wei Yin's Invitation to Tea. 2083 Lu Wei Yin's Invitation to Tea. Gurgle gurgle. The tea was boiling and was letting out yellowish-brown strands of steam. In the small wooden cabin atop the mountain, experts that could influence the world were sitting in front of a small tea table. One was the #1 demon in the current world, Gu Fong Yuan. The other was Southern Border's Paradise Earth inheritor Lu Wei Yin. His comprehensive battle strength might not reach pseudo-venerable level, but his defensive prowess was enough to compete against a pseudo-venerable. The fresh mountain air blew in from the open window, mixing with the fragrance of the tea. Fong Yuan gazed afar. Outside the window were tall mountains and clean rivers, looking like utopia. Cranes flew, apes shrieked, desolate beasts and plants were abundant and docile. There were treehouses and villages around the mountains, lots of commotion could be heard from chickens and dogs, there were columns of smoke rising from houses, it was a serene and tranquil atmosphere. In the sky, there were many floating mountains. These mountains were made from float soil and could stay in the sky. There were many specialties in each mountain, their environments varied. Some had long green vines that extended like hair. Some had drizzles and beautiful rainbows. Some had waterfalls with huge crashing torrents that gathered in huge pools. And this mountain that Fong Yuan was on stood majestically on the ground and was the tallest mountain in Mushroom Man Paradise. Fong Yuan had just sat down when he asked Lu Wei Yin, was Spectral Soul still alive? Lu Wei Yin only smiled and did not reply, instead concentrating on making tea. The tea was prepared. This was extreme serene mind tea, it was created with rank 8 immortal materials. The tea fragrance was refreshing and seemed to be mixed with the smell of soil after rain. The tea, the location, and Mushroom Man Paradise itself seemed to complement each other. Right now, they were not distant immortals who were high and mighty, but were instead experiencing the joy of an ordinary farmer's life and the tranquil state of mind. Please. Lu Wei Yin handed the teacup to Fong Yuan with both hands. The tea had been boiling hot just earlier, but in just a few breaths of time, the steam disappeared and the tea turned into cooled tea. 1. Fong Yuan took a sip, but Lu Wei Yin directly lifted the large bowl-sized cup and took huge mouthfuls. Fong Yuan's eyes shone, he gained some insight and copied Lu Wei Yin's drinking method. Gulp. His Adam's apple moved up and down as Fong Yuan took a large mouthful of tea. This time, Fong Yuan had a very different feeling. The tea was not ice cold, but there was a gentle coolness that seeped into Fong Yuan's organs and intestines. His internal heatiness, too, was swept away, the tea was mellow and refreshing along with a trace of sweetness. Gulp, gulp, Fong Yuan finished the whole cup of tea. Good tea. He had a peculiar expression when he placed the teacup down. That one bowl of tea had added 1,000 Earth Path Dao marks in his body. When a Gu immortal passes a heavenly tribulation, they would only obtain 750 Dao marks. And earthly calamities normally gave 250. This extreme serene mind tea actually increased so many Dao marks. It was akin to a Gu immortal risking their life to pass a heavenly tribulation and an earthly calamity. Lu Wei Yin spoke slowly. This Mushroom Man blessed land received Paradise Earth immortal venerables help and turned into a paradise, thereby being free from calamities and tribulations. Paradise Earth immortal venerable also left behind his virtue true inheritance here, so this Mushroom Man Paradise's name became Virtue Paradise. Before Paradise Earth immortal venerable became venerable, he cultivated and studied in this place. When he became venerable, he changed this place into Virtue Paradise and lived here for some time. Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created extreme serene mind tea during this period of time. Although food path was passed down, it was kept secretive by Spectral Soul and was almost never exposed to outsiders. Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable spent his life mending the disaster caused by Spectral Soul and brought order to the chaotic world. Thus, he did a deep research on food path. He left behind many of his food path gains in Virtue True Inheritance. In his view, food path had huge potential but there were too few people cultivating it. If it was truly developed, it could bring fortune to the world. For instance, this extreme serene mind tea is essentially a food path killer move formed from expending rank 8 immortal materials. So, it can add earth path Dao marks. The talent of a venerable is truly deep and unfathomable. Fong Yuan praised. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created the killer move suffering loss is a blessing and all life is bitter to counter Spectral Soul's food path methods. These two methods played a crucial role during the ambush of Spectral Soul. But Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not stop here, he pushed food path to an even higher level. In the present 5 regions Gu Immortal World, almost all the tea and wine were incomplete food path Gu recipes. This was already acknowledged by Gu Immortals. Just drinking wine or tea was merely to delight the taste buds and show off one's wealth, or maybe display the results of one's refinement path improvement. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, however, completed this aspect and turned tea and wine into food path killer moves. Like this, food path finally showed its own unique splendor. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's food path methods can change tea and wine into killer moves. After tasting the food, Gu cultivators can increase their Dao marks. This is a method that can change the entire structure of the Gu Immortal World. Fong Yuan realized. The influence of this method was enormous. In history, the main source of Dao marks was to undergo tribulations. But this food path method broke away from this situation. Fong Yuan had eat strength Immortal Gu and could do this. But Immortal Gu were unique, while Paradise Earth's food path method could be learned and referenced to create a number of other similar killer moves. Eat strength Immortal Gu could not be popularized, but killer moves could be spread everywhere. These were two different concepts. Fong Yuan's gaze turned deep and dark. Just this extreme serene mind tea was enough to show Lu Wei Yin's deep accumulation and foundation. This virtue paradise had deep foundation and did not lack rank 8 earth path immortal materials. Lu Wei Yin could simply use this tea to accumulate earth path Dao marks beyond common sense. It was no wonder he could fight Spectral Soul. Fong Yuan looked beyond the window once again and at this mushroom man paradise. His previous evaluation of this place was raised by several times. This food path method was extremely beneficial to Gu Immortal cultivation. Virtue Paradise had many Gu Immortals, these Gu Immortals' strength very likely surpassed other same-ranked Immortals. But, since the start, Lu Wei Yin had only moved around by himself and did not reveal these other Gu Immortals. This person's shrewdness and patience made Fong Yuan have a different view of him. Sensing the deep meaning in Fong Yuan's gaze, Lu Wei Yin said modestly, "Fong Yuan, do not overestimate me and this virtue paradise. Although we have this food path method, the cost to use it is truly high. Virtue Paradise produces large quantities of earth path resources, but besides me, who cultivates earth path mainly, most of the Gu Immortals here are mushroom men and what they cultivate is poison path. There are also a few human Gu Immortals who cultivate wood path and water path. This food path method's efficiency is not that high. For instance, this bowl of extreme serene mind tea used a large number of rank 8 earth path immortal materials to only give several hundred earth path Dao marks. Of course, Fong Yuan, you have the sovereign immortal body which does not have conflicting Dao marks, so your gains should be greater than normal." Lu Wei Yin concluded. Even Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable said in his last words that this food path method is not even worth mentioning when compared to Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, Red Lotus Demon Venerable, and other venerables. Venerable methods were extremely majestic and could change the world. For instance, Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable led humanity's uprising and founded Heavenly Court. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable created Wisdom Path and tricked Heaven's will, setting the foundation for Heavenly Court to stand for countless years. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable left behind his bloodline and created 88 True Yang Building, taking the whole of Northern Plains as his courtyard. Red Lotus Demon Venerable made arrangements that spanned over 1 million years to destroy Fate Gu. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable left behind his methods to create Divine Emperor City. The painting world developed and established the foundation of human path. These were all arrangements that influenced not only one generation, they would result in endless development throughout the whole world. Fong Yuan frowned as he guessed something from Lu Wei Yin's tone. He directly asked, since Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable mentioned Genesis Lotus in his last words, did he already know Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable would create Divine Emperor City? Lu Wei nodded. When Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable roamed the world and saved lives everywhere, he got familiar with Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's methods. Back then, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable left behind Divine Being Palace to restrict Spectral Soul and to plot against him when he had yet to be a Venerable. Xianxia's core is Hatred Gu, which was formed through Divine Being Palace. The relationship between Xianxia and Divine Being Palace is extremely close. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's original plan was to merge Xianxia, Divine Being Palace, and Emperor City during the Fate War to form Divine Emperor City and protect Heavenly Court. However, a mishap occurred before this time. Fong Yuan, you collaborated with Fong Clan to drive away Xianxia and seize Divine Being Palace. Even though Divine Being Palace merged with Emperor City afterwards, it lacked Xianxia. Without Xianxia, Divine Emperor City's strength was incomplete. The will of Genesis Lotus inside it probably wanted to protect the human path gains, so it did not participate in the Fate War. Fong Yuan's expression was complex, so it was like this. Genesis Lotus' plan was originally perfect. During the Fate War, Xianxia could sense the existence of Spectral Soul's damaged soul. It would possess rank 9 Hatred Gu and have pseudo-venerable battle strength. Not only could it help Duke Long to guard Heavenly Court, it could even exterminate Spectral Soul's damaged soul. Unfortunately, Fong Yuan unintentionally destroyed this plan. Originally, Xianxia had been nurturing Hatred Gu inside Divine Being Palace and strengthening itself. But after being driven away, this process was disrupted. Thereupon, during the Fate War, Xianxia did not have the expected battle strength and it was separated from Divine Being Palace. When the Fate War ended, Genesis Lotus will contacted Qin Ding Ling, which was why Red Heart Traveler and 9 Spiritual Fairy collaborated and secretly moved to bring back Xianxia to Heavenly Court. So in fact, it was not Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable who plotted against Fong Yuan, but Fong Yuan who first broke Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's plan. This led Genesis Lotus will to have no options left other than to appear suddenly during the Fate War and modify his plan. So then, why was Fong Yuan willing to accept the alliance agreement and cooperate with Fong Clan to drive away Xianxia? The crucial key was Great Thief Immortal Gu. After obtaining Great Thief Immortal Gu, Fong Yuan created Great Thief Ghost Hand with the rank 9 killer move Ghostly Concealment as the core and the rank 7 Great Thief Immortal Gu as a supplement, forcibly stealing rank 8 Soul Beast token from Xianxia's body. Without Soul Beast token, Xianxia's strength fell sharply, which led to Fong Clan's victory. And where did Great Thief Immortal Gu come from? It was obtained by Fong Clan from their thieving heaven true inheritance. 1. This can be called herbal tea, which is also literally cooling/cooled tea. 2. Chinese medicine theory, which is resolved by consuming cooling food or drinks. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2084, Spectral Soul's True Main Body. 2084 Spectral Soul's True Main Body. So Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable did not just arrange heaven form, this is also another arrangement, but I did not notice it earlier. Fong Yuan thought to himself. He suddenly had a thought as he asked, is Xianxia also alive? Towards the end of the pursuit battle against Fong Yuan, Divine Emperor City came to participate in the battle, causing a huge commotion. Was it really to suppress Demon Immortal Qi Ju and Longevity Heaven? Fong Yuan thought about the fragments of Xianxia's corpse. What was Divine Emperor City's true motive? It was a debatable question. Lu Weiyin's expression turned solemn as he sighed. I only got an answer after returning here and recuperating for some time. What was the main reason why Divine Emperor City joined the battle? In that situation earlier, the aura of rank 9 Hatred Gu was completely gone, it seemed to have been destroyed. However, Xianxia is a living being formed from a killer move. I cannot be certain if it is dead or alive. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's method is simply too unfathomable, we can only sigh in amazement. Turning a killer move into a legendary immemorial beast was simply too profound, even Fong Yuan and Lu Weiyin could only watch without being able to decipher it. Lu Wei-yin continued, I cannot deduce Qing Chao's current state, but regarding spectral soul's situation, I am very clear about it. Fong Yuan smiled lightly, please tell me. Lu Wei-yin beat around the bush for so long, he finally got to the main point. He answered, spectral soul can be said to be both alive and dead at the moment. Because his true main body has always been inside the door of life and death. Fong Yuan nodded as he sighed, as I had expected. When spectral soul self-detonated, Fong Yuan already felt something amiss. After refining all of his heaven path Dao marks, Fong Yuan thought back about the situation and had even more suspicions brewing. The great spectral soul actually died like this? Spectral soul was the most heaven-defying one out of all the venerables after all. In the 500 years of Fong Yuan's previous life, Zombie Alliance was around while Shadow Sect hid in the dark, spectral soul secretly controlled the whole of Heavenly Court. Duke Long did not appear at all, he was evidently harmed by spectral soul. He even plotted against Feng Jiugu, using that chance to seize Langya Blessed Land, he controlled the overall situation and was the mastermind behind the 5 regions' chaotic war. As long as Great Dream Immortal Venerable did not appear, spectral soul would be the greatest winner in this situation. Thus, Fong Yuan invaded Hu Immortal Blessed Land and was aided by Song Zhong, managing to kill Feng Jin Huang. Who was Feng Jin Huang? In her childhood, Dream Wing's immortal Gu came to her, Feng Jin Huang was the prospective Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Who was Fong Yuan? He was an otherworldly demon. Before fate was destroyed, he was the only one who could create different outcomes. And who was Song Zhong? He was publicly Song Zixing's son, but in reality, he was created from his blood fetus. And Song Zixing? He was known as the Blood Dragon, he was a member of Shadow Sect, one of Spectral Soul's split souls. In the 500 years of Fong Yuan's previous life, there were many hidden truths. At that time, Fate Gu was not destroyed, Demon Immortal Qi Ju could not revive, the other venerables could only watch as Spectral Soul wreaked havoc. Spectral Soul was too overbearing, in the end, Heavens will had to choose Fong Yuan to return to the past and change everything. During the Battle of Tian Mountain, on the surface, Fong Yuan successfully stopped Spectral Soul. But was that really the case? Spectral Soul knew that Fong Yuan had been reborn as a result of Heaven's will. According to his original plan, he would be able to control Heavenly Court and manipulate the 5 regions' chaotic war, but Heaven's will would still obstruct him. If Fong Yuan failed, a second or third otherworldly demon might appear, Spectral Soul would never be able to stand at the peak of the universe. Thus, he changed his plan. At that moment, he started working together with Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Eventually, he gave Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu to Fong Yuan, creating a complete otherworldly demon. After the Fate War, Fate Gu was destroyed by Fong Yuan. Spectral Soul wanted to reclaim the Sovereign Immortal Body. His plan was perfect. He had no lack of soul path attainment level, with the Sovereign Immortal Body, he would be able to annex soul pacifying Grotto Heaven and others, instantly regaining his strength. Thus, he would be ahead of the other venerables, he would have the initiative. The advantage of being first was unimaginable. If Spectral Soul succeeded, he would be the strongest person, the entire world would be trampled under his feet. But he did not succeed. Red Lotus Demon Venerable plotted against him, while the Heaven Path Dao marks restricted Fong Yuan, they also protected him. Spectral Soul did not regain the Sovereign Immortal Body, his growth became very different. While chasing after Fong Yuan, Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven worked together, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's inheritor Lu Wei-yin also interfered, eventually managing to kill Spectral Soul. Fong Yuan tried to put himself in Spectral Soul's shoes. If he were Spectral Soul, what would he do? Thus, he found a huge flaw in Spectral Soul's plan. It was too risky. During the Dream Realm battle, Duke Long defeated Purple Mountain True Monarch and broke into the Blessed Land, capturing Spectral Soul and taking the Door of Life and Death. Spectral Soul's life was in the hands of Heavenly Court. If Fairy Z-Wei did not go after information and clues but killed Spectral Soul right away, would that not ruin everything? Fong Yuan would not make such an arrangement if it were him. What about Spectral Soul? Even though he had the strongest killing nature, he was not stupid at all. Thus, the most likely case was that the captured Spectral Soul was not the true main body of Spectral Soul. If Fong Yuan were Spectral Soul, he would also create a clone to disguise as his main body and let Heavenly Court capture him. Firstly, it would lower the enemy's guard. Secondly, the clone was a trap as well, Fairy Ziwei fell right into it. Thirdly, the amount of information and true inheritances that the clone had would not be the same as the main body. Even if he was captured, the enemies would not gain much. And finally, even if the clone was killed, the main body would not be affected. Fong Yuan had two pieces of evidence regarding his suspicions of Spectral Soul. The first one was Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was the crucial person in their pursuit of Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan and Spectral Soul used their respective true inheritances to lure Demon Immortal Qi Ju into becoming their ally. Eventually, Fong Yuan won Demon Immortal Qi Ju over. Spectral Soul was forced to self-detonate and died. After the battle, Fong Yuan recalled this contest. He felt that victory was simply too easily obtained. It was quite different from his expectations. But if Spectral Soul was just a split soul, everything would make sense. Spectral Soul did not predict the rebirth of Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Because Fate Gu was destroyed, all fixed traces were erased, the future was uncertain. Spectral Soul's plan was for his split soul to get captured by Heavenly Court. He would only place certain memories into it. These memories would not make Heavenly Court suspicious, but they would also not contain precious information like valuable true inheritances. Thus, Fong Yuan won against Spectral Soul in this aspect. The second piece of evidence was obtained by Fong Yuan recently. Through luck inspection, he checked his own luck and found that at the top of his pure silver pillar of light, there were 3 clouds. Among them, one was pitch black like ink. Who could cause such disturbance to him? This black cloud was obviously pointing towards Spectral Soul. If Spectral Soul was still alive, would he let Fong Yuan off? Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance spent years of accumulated resources and even the 10 extreme physiques to create Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu. Would Spectral Soul let Fong Yuan off? Impossible. On the other hand, with the revival of Demon Immortal Qi Ju, the world knew that it was possible for Venerables to be revived now. Spectral Soul's main body had likely already planned for his revival long ago. In fact, did the other Venerables not have such plans? In the past, due to Fate Gu, nobody could revive. But now that it was destroyed, who would not want to revive? Nobody knew which Venerable would be the first one to revive fully. Nobody was clear when they would revive. It was even possible that a Venerable would revive at the next moment. Thus, the situation was quite precarious for Fong Yuan. Once a Venerable revives, the value of his pseudo-Venerable battle strength would fall greatly. His status as the #1 demon in the world would turn him into a target instead. After the battle, Lu Weiyin told him to use his time well before departing. This was what he meant. Fong Yuan did exactly so. After the battle, he used his time to its limit. He did not relax for even a moment. Once his strength returned and was able to deal with risks, Fong Yuan came to Virtue Paradise. He came here not for Lu Weiyin, Paradise Earth's true meaning, or to inherit Paradise Earth's true inheritance. He only had one objective. Tell me, Lu Weiyin, how do I become a Venerable? Fate Gu was destroyed, the future of the world became uncertain, anything could happen now. Not only the Gu immortal world, even Gu masters were starting to see the turbulence of the future. Fong Yuan was fighting, the mortal Gu masters were also struggling. Sorrowful Wind Mountain Range. For Gu masters traveled together, they entered deep into the mountain range for investigation. They had rank 4 cultivation level, together, they could resist rank 5. In Central Continent's Gu Master world, they were famous demonic path experts. They were the 4 great obscenities: Eastern Obscenity Chen Yin Dao, Western Thief Yu Ba Guang, Southern Disturbance Shi Bao and Northern Squandering Fan Chun Yao. Sorrowful winds are blowing again. Yu Ba Guang alerted the rest. Among the four, he had the most effective investigative methods. Quick, take out the Gu house. Chen Yin Dao immediately ordered. He was the leader of the four. The Gu house was kept by Fan Chunyao. He was in charge of healing and support. The four Gu masters quickly hid inside the Gu house. Sorrowful winds blew outside the Gu house. The entire place was creaking and shaking. From time to time, Fan Chunyao had to replenish Gu worms in place of those that died from the sorrowful winds. A terrible loss, this is a terrible loss. Fan Chunyao shouted in grief. Along the way, we already lost so much by resisting the sorrowful wind. Is there really anything good in this sorrowful wind mountain range? Chen Yin Dao shook his head and smiled bitterly. I cannot guarantee that, but as long as there is some hope, we need to take a risk. Not long ago, Gu immortals fought on Sorrowful Wind Mountain Range. They might have left something behind by chance. It may allow us to ascend to immortal. The moment immortal ascension was mentioned, the other three Gu masters started to breathe heavily. As long as we become immortal, who would dare to attack us for immortals? We will no longer be pursued by anyone. Once we become immortals, those high and mighty female Gu masters will all be at our mercy, right? Ha ha ha. You need to be more ambitious. After becoming immortal, what's the point of going after mortals? We can target immortal fairies. The Gu masters looked at each other and started to snicker pervertedly. What they did not know was, Heavenly Court had already cleaned up the battlefield. All those immemorial year beast corpses were taken away already. The four of them came to the ruins and searched for 7 days but found nothing of value at all. Just as the four were anxious and furious, preparing to leave, they finally found something. There is a person here. Quickly come. What's so strange about seeing a person? There are so many corpses here. They are the villagers living on the mountains. No, this person is still alive. And there is a weird phenomenon around him. What? The other three Gu masters rushed up and saw Wang Xiao'er, who had tightly shut eyes. He was still barely alive. Around him, there were several wild flowers and grass. They were rapidly blooming and wilting, alternating between green and gray with his every breath. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2085, 4 Conditions to Become Venerable. 2085 4 Conditions to Become Venerable. In this Gu world, looking at the past to the present, in the period of over 3 million years, 10 Gu cultivators stood at the peak of the world, looking down on all the living beings. In the long river of history, the 5 regions and 2 heavens had countless geniuses and heroes. If these people were akin to shining stars in the sky, then the 10 rank 9 Gu immortals were each like suns. They were bright and dazzling, spreading their radiance over the whole world. Their glory had never faded, their legends continued to be widespread. They were the 10 great venerables. From the start of history until now, they were 3 million years ago, remote antiquity era, primordial origin immortal venerable, star constellation immortal venerable. 1 million years ago, olden antiquity era, limitless demon venerable, reckless savage demon venerable, red lotus demon venerable. 300,000 years ago, medieval antiquity era, Genesis lotus immortal venerable, thieving heaven demon venerable, giant sun immortal venerable. 100,000 years ago, late antiquity era, spectral soul demon venerable, paradise earth immortal venerable. These 10 stood at the apex, dominating the world with unparalleled might. They suppressed their entire era with no rival that could match them. Their methods were terrifying. Even after a long period, they still remained like eternal arrangements. Their intelligent schemes spanned across the eras, existing throughout the past and present. They used all living beings as their pawns. Even after death, they still continued to influence countless future generations. Towards these people, Fang Yuan had the deepest feelings in this aspect compared to everyone else in the world. Fang Yuan was extremely clear about the gap between him and these venerables. Even though he was the #1 demon of the current world, having pseudo-venerable battle strength, he was not confident in fighting against a venerable. Venerables dominated heaven and earth, everyone else other than them were ants. The Fate War was a huge lesson to everyone. Any method left by any venerable could turn the entire situation around just like that. Only a venerable could resist another venerable. Putting it crudely, the reason why Fang Yuan succeeded in the Fate War was because he struggled and managed to survive while sandwiched between the battle among the 10 venerables and heaven's will. Towards these venerables who invested in him and treated him as a pawn, for every bit of admiration that Fang Yuan held towards them, there was also an urge to challenge them. For every bit of wariness he felt towards them, there was a bit of desire to match them. If they could become venerables, why couldn't I, Fang Yuan, do it? Furthermore, in order to pursue eternal life, the so-called rank 9 venerable cultivation level was merely the stepping stone for Fang Yuan. The plan to become venerable had already been set the moment he was reborn. Years ago, when Fang Yuan had just been reborn, he looked up at the sky during those nights, viewing the moon. He felt incredibly minuscule. But now, he had already risen to the skies. Venerable level was merely his next step of advancement. But how could he become a venerable? Fang Yuan did not know, he was uncertain, he did not understand. There was a huge secret behind the ascension of a venerable. This secret had never been publicly spread. The 10 venerables seemed to have some sort of tacit agreement. They kept this secret together. Nobody in the world could find out, they could only analyze using some clues and common traits that everyone knew. Among the 10 venerables, there were 9 males and 1 female. This meant that there was no gender restriction in becoming a venerable, it was possible for both sexes. Venerables possessed invincible battle strength, but they were not omnipotent. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable had once asked Long-Hair Ancestor to refine Immortal Gu with them. 2 kings could not exist at the same time. In every great era, there was only one venerable, there had never been 2 venerables in the same time period. Contests between venerables were limited to the type in the Fate War, where they competed using methods they left behind. Each venerable possessed immense innate luck. Phenomena could be seen for some when they were born. Their lives were smooth sailing, for example, Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Some were not apparent in their early days, they only grew explosively after a certain period of time. Seemingly, in the growth of every venerable, there would be one Tao Guardian in existence. Each Tao Guardian played a monumental role in the journey of the venerable's growth. They could be either friend or enemy. It was publicly recognized that every rank 9 venerable's main path was at Supreme Grandmaster. The venerables were still restricted by lifespan. There were records in history where venerables used their full strength to hunt for lifespan Gu. The 10 venerables were all humans, there had never been a variant human venerable. However, just this information could not truly deduce the secret of venerable ascension. One of the most successful deductions in history was the prophecy of 3 venerables. Immortal Yi Yen said that in the future, there would be Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, and Great Dream Immortal Venerable. This deduction did not involve the details of the secret of venerable ascension. Furthermore, after Fang Yuan destroyed Fate Gu, this prophecy was no longer set in stone. Then, what was the secret of venerable ascension? Fang Yuan needed to know about this secret urgently. Demon Immortal Qi Ju's success was the best example. It was likely that the venerables were going to revive. Thus, the best way to deal with this possibility was for Fang Yuan to become venerable himself. Fang Yuan understood deeply, no matter how many grotto heavens he annexed or how many immortal materials and Tao marks he had, he could not become venerable. Thus, the most important reason why he came to Lu Wei Yin was for the secret of venerable ascension. Other things, like Paradise Earth's true inheritance or Paradise Earth's true meaning, were just secondary gains for the current Fang Yuan. Sitting opposite each other, Lu Wei Yin drank his tea as he smiled. He was not surprised by Fang Yuan's question. He raised his head and placed down his teacup. He raised 3 fingers and said directly, "There are 4 conditions to satisfy if you want to become a venerable. First, the Gu Immortal's Immortal Aperture Origin Core has to produce White Lychee Immortal Essence. Second, the Gu Immortal's main cultivation path needs to have at least 300,000 Tao marks. Third, the Gu Immortal's main cultivation path needs to be at least Supreme Grandmaster in attainment level. Fourth, after meeting the first three conditions, the Gu immortal has to break through the heavenly Tao blockade, after which the immortal aperture origin core will undergo a qualitative change and produce rank 9 yellow apricot immortal essence. Out of Fang Yuan's expectations, Lu Wei-yin actually told him the secret of Venerable Ascension directly and honestly. Fang Yuan originally thought that Lu Wei-yin would make a transaction regarding this and list some conditions for Fang Yuan. Or more accurately, there had to be a reason why Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable chose Fang Yuan as his inheritor. Fang Yuan did not know what Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was plotting. But he had already decided that as long as he could obtain the secret of Venerable Ascension, he would be willing to give in to some extent and work with Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. However, Lu Wei-yin did not conceal this secret, he directly said it to Fang Yuan. This was like a transaction where both parties were meant to hand over the goods and money at the same time, but suddenly, the trader tossed the goods to the buyer first. Lu Wei-yin's action did not make Fang Yuan relax, he instead became more alert. Lu Wei-yin had a deep scheming mind. Fang Yuan had lost to him once in the past and failed to regain upper extreme heavenly eagle. During the battle to pursue Fang Yuan, Lu Wei-yin worked with him and killed Spectral Soul together. This battle even showed Fang Yuan his strong mental fortitude and endurance. How could such a person be so unwise? Fang Yuan carefully thought about the 4 conditions of Venerable Ascension. The first 2 conditions are basically those of a rank 8 Gu immortal who has passed 3 myriad tribulations. I have already met this condition in Qi path, time path, refinement path, and transformation path. As for the third condition of the main cultivation path being Supreme Grandmaster, I have not fulfilled this criteria yet, but my refinement path, time path, and enslavement path are already quasi-supreme. The difference is not huge. As for the fourth condition, breaking through the heavenly Tao blockade? Fang Yuan frowned slightly as he asked, what does the heavenly Tao blockade refer to? Lu Wei-yin continued to explain for Fang Yuan, the way of heaven is to take away surpluses while replenishing deficits, so all things are in balance and mutually restrict each other. A tall tree is the first to face destruction, soil that is nearest to the water will be the first to be swept away by the currents. But the way of humans is the exact opposite, it reduces the deficits and builds up the surpluses. By devouring the weak and continuing to learn, one can grow and make up for insufficiencies to become even stronger. The heavenly Tao does not want the number of Gu immortals to increase while they at the same time get stronger, thus calamities and tribulations occur. Calamities and tribulations are part of the heavenly Tao blockade. Before becoming a venerable, the heavenly Tao will send a tribulation far greater than any myriad tribulation. Other than that, there is Lifespan Gu. Lifespan Gu is a heaven path Gu worm, it cannot be refined by people. Even though the 10 venerables were invincible in their eras, they were still bound by it. During an era with a venerable in existence, natural production of Lifespan Gu will continuously fall. The third blockade is Fate Gu, but you have already destroyed it. Fang Yuan pondered, there are basically 3 types of heavenly Tao blockades. Fate Gu has been destroyed while Lifespan Gu is of no concern for now, the remaining tribulation blockade is the greatest hurdle that I will face. Is there a way to deal with the heavenly Tao blockade? How did the venerables in history get past it? Fang Yuan asked. Lu Wei-yin answered, there are ways to take shortcuts, luck path is one of them. The venerables in history all have immense innate luck, it mostly comes from 2 sources. The first is the favor of heaven's will, the second is the adoration of human path. 3 million years ago, the variant humans were strong and disrupted the balance, the heavenly Tao sought to deal with them, so heavens will favored primordial origin and allowed him to become an immortal venerable. The best example of human path adoration is Red Lotus Demon Venerable. He is a child of humanity, he has extremely dense innate luck, when he was born, tribulation struck. The 3 dukes of heavenly court had to intervene and block the tribulation for Red Lotus. Fang Yuan raised his brows, thinking about it, can human path methods be a way of breaking through the heavenly Tao blockade? Earlier, Fang Yuan had used human path methods to interrupt with the heavenly Tao, allowing him to gain time to take action. In this aspect, he was quite experienced. Lu Wei-yin nodded, indeed, human path methods are a good way of breaking through the heavenly Tao blockade. Precisely so, the various venerables had a common trait, they all comprehended something from U003 CU003 The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003 and created their own top-tier human path killer moves. They continued to converse for some time. Lu Wei-yin answered every single one of Fang Yuan's questions to the best of his knowledge. Fang Yuan finally understood the conditions to become venerable. He fell into deep contemplation. After careful analysis, he found that only 2 points restricted him from becoming venerable. One was attainment level, the other was the heavenly Dao blockade. The latter could be dealt with eventually. Fang Yuan had cooking luck pot in terms of luck path. He also had human path methods, he just had to elevate and develop them further. The true problem was attainment level. Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, it seemed very close to the genuine Supreme Grandmaster, but that was actually very hard to reach. If there was a suitable environment and sufficient time, Fang Yuan could work hard in cultivation and continue to deepen his comprehension. He believed that in this lifetime, he could definitely reach Supreme Grandmaster in at least one path. But now, the revival of venerables had started to cast a shadow on his future. What method is there to allow me to get past this problem? Dream realms? Obviously not. Fang Yuan had already found out that the dream realms originating from spectral soul could only reach Great Grandmaster attainment level at most. True meaning. He thought about it. Don't tell me, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable left behind his true meaning so that my Earth path could reach Supreme Grandmaster. Seemingly sensing Fang Yuan's thoughts, Lu Wei-yin shook his head. Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's true meaning can only allow you to reach Earth path Great Grandmaster. However, there is a solution in Paradise Earth's true inheritance. Fang Yuan looked at the smiling Lu Wei-yin, an obscure light flashed in his eyes. Oh, please do tell me. Lu Wei-yin thus said, Fang Yuan, you have read U003 CU003 The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003 You must know this secluded domain of heaven and earth, primordial domain. The truth is, if one can enter primordial domain, they would be able to make one of their paths reach Supreme Grandmaster. Primordial domain. Fang Yuan was moved. You know where it is. Lu Wei-yin's eyes flashed with bright light, at the deepest layer of Crazed Demon Cave. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2086, The Secret of Venerable Invincibility. 2086 The Secret of Venerable Invincibility. Primordial domain, is at the deepest layer of Crazed Demon Cave. At once, thoughts collided in Fang Yuan's mind rapidly. U003 CU003 The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003 did mention primordial domain, but the description was vague and ambiguous. It depended on the reader's own perspective and comprehension. Even if primordial domain has such power, is it really at the deepest layer of Crazed Demon Cave? Fang Yuan would not believe Lu Wei-yin's words so easily. But this was quite possible. Fang Yuan had been to Crazed Demon Cave. He had observed then that Paradise Earth went there and even created his own Dao field. Fang Yuan could not enter the deepest layer, but Paradise Earth was an immortal venerable, his ability could not be easily assessed. If this is real, then Paradise Earth's objective is in Crazed Demon Cave. Fang Yuan's mind was turbulent but his expression remained unchanging. Lu Wei-yin looked at his expression as he sighed internally. This Gu Fang Yuan is the #1 demon in the world after all. No wonder Heaven's will and the Venerables chose him as their pawn. Just this information is not enough to gain his trust. Lu Wei-yin had no choice but to continue speaking. Primordial domain is indeed at the bottom of Crazed Demon Cave. It is quite unique. It is both the beginning and the end. It contains the supreme profundity of the whole of heaven and earth. Limitless Demon Venerable used it and rank 9 derivation Immortal Gu as the cores to derive new worlds and create brand new heaven path Dao marks. In a way, Crazed Demon Cave is far more important than even Heavenly Court. Lu Wei-yin said slowly as he exposed even more secrets. During the Olden Antiquity era a million years ago, humanity's first Demon Venerable, Limitless Demon Venerable, attacked Heavenly Court and threatened to destroy it, forcing star constellations will to engage in a game of chess with him. The chessboard was secretly linked to Crazed Demon Cave. As the two venerables schemed, their thoughts collided and new ideas were born. They created brand new Heaven Path games. These games went into Crazed Demon Cave through the chessboard, helping Limitless with his derivation. Star Constellation pretended to be unaware, but she was prepared for this long ago. She went along with the plan. The Venerables of the future, like Reckless Savage Demon Venerable, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, and Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, all visited Imperfection Regret Pavilion and knew of the two Venerables game. They understood the importance of Crazed Demon Cave. During the Fate War, the silhouettes of both Venerables vanished within Imperfection Regret Pavilion, but this was only the end of a segment of their game. The true place to decide victory was still Crazed Demon Cave. All the Venerables knew this. They all took part in some way. For example, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable created his Green Lotus Dao field in the 8th layer of Crazed Demon Cave. Reckless Savage Demon Venerable created his Savage Wilderness Great World, while Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable made his Yellow Earth Great World. This way, the situation became more complex. Fang Yuan was shaken internally. This has been one of my deepest suspicions so far. A portion of the Venerables spent so much effort to create their Dao field in the 8th layer of Crazed Demon Cave. Why did they want to defend their own big world so much? Unless, they are also after Primordial Domain. Venerables have already become venerable. Primordial Domain is not necessary to them. Wait, that might not be the case. A flash of inspiration sparked in Fang Yuan's mind. He saw through the fog and observed a corner of the truth. Ha! Lu Wei-yin laughed loudly. Fang Yuan, you truly live up to your reputation. You are someone who did not falter to the Venerables' plots no matter how many were in your way. You have already understood a portion of it. Indeed. Lu Wei-yin continued, Fate Gu has been destroyed, Venerables can revive now. However, the stronger the Gu immortal, the more troublesome and bigger the price their revival will be. If they are careless, even if they revive, they will not have their former strength. For example, Demon Immortal Qi Ju was interrupted by Yu and Wu Yong, his strength fell and he was no longer in his peak condition. Venerables are the same. After they revive, even though they will not have their Venerable blockade and will be able to regain rank 9 cultivation level, the competition between Venerables will be intense. Even though Venerables left behind revival methods, they are still limited in the end. Thus, the Venerables want to make their revival certain. It would be best if they had their former peak battle strength the moment they revived. Fang Yuan nodded continuously. He could understand the Venerables' mentality. When Fate Gu was around, everyone was unable to revive. But all the Venerables still left behind some methods. Once Fate Gu was destroyed, these methods would activate and allow them to revive. However, Venerables were in opposing factions. They had their own perspectives. They also schemed against each other. Who would not want to be the strongest person in the world? Who would want the existence of Venerables other than themselves? The Venerables were wary of each other. They thwarted each other's plans. Even though they were dead, they still competed with each other in the dark. Due to the long duration of history, this type of competition would usually benefit the Venerables of the future eras. For example, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. But nothing was absolute. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable came before Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, but his arrangements, Divine Emperor City and Qing Chou, still managed to harm Spectral Soul. Or the situation of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable entering the Red Lotus Stone Island and taking away Regret Gu. It was an easy task. But all in all, this was the general trend. Later Venerables had a greater advantage in this contest. Because the entire Gu cultivation world was continuously developing and growing. In the remote antiquity era, in Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's time, there were only 4 to 5 paths. Qi path was the strongest. But now, there were paths of all kinds. Mainstream paths numbered to at least 20. Taking Divine Emperor City as an example, it was created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable using his Peakwood path and Painting path attainment at that time. It could even mimic human path. But in terms of luck path, it was quite lacking. After all, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable only appeared after Genesis Lotus. In fact, it was not certain if Divine Emperor City was still the peak product of Wood path at this current time. 300,000 years had already passed since Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's era. During this long period, Wood Path had grown tremendously, countless geniuses emerged, they had their own developments, they promoted Wood Path to a new level. Only Painting Path was still at its peak. Why? Painting Path had been kept as a secret by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, it was not leaked to the outside world. Thus, the current Painting Path was still kept at its peak state from back then. This was also why a portion of the Venerables held on to their own path's true inheritances and did not spread them widely. Like Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Luck Path true inheritances. Lu Wei-yin continued to expose more secrets. Fang Yuan, do you know that Duke Long had moved the door of life and death into Crazed Demon Cave before the Fate War? Fang Yuan's gaze flickered. Heavenly Court knows that Spectral Soul's main body is inside the door of life and death, so they moved it away in advance and prevented him from succeeding his plot. No wonder Spectral Soul and Fairy Zi Wei could not find the door of life and death even after ransacking Heavenly Court's treasuries. Lu Wei-yin drank some tea before continuing. Duke Long did not just relocate the door of life and death, he even moved a portion of Heavenly Court's immortal graveyard into Crazed Demon Cave. Fang Yuan was stirred. This means that I only destroyed a portion of Heavenly Court's immortal graveyard, the rest is inside Crazed Demon Cave. Is this the backup plan that Heavenly Court had? It does seem like the way of a righteous path superforce. After all, Heavenly Court had limited Gu immortals, even if they woke up, they could not retain their peak battle strength. Star constellations will also need some Gu immortals to hibernate and support her. I was about to get to star constellations will. Lu Wei-yin's gaze was bright as a torch, he stared at Fang Yuan. Do you know that for a long time, Star Constellations will has not showed herself to tell Heavenly Court what to do? Fang Yuan was finally moved, he understood the implicit meaning behind these words. Fang Yuan stared at Lu Wei-yin. You mean to say, Star Constellation has already revived using her will? Lu Wei-yin nodded, although I am not certain, this is very likely to be the case. If Star Constellation Immortal Venerable revived, she would definitely lurk in the 8th layer and try to obtain the 9th layer's primordial domain. Once she enters it, she will regain her Supreme Grandmaster attainment level in Wisdom Path, she will be able to use the primeval energy of the world for herself and become a complete and genuine Tao Lord. Fang Yuan frowned deeply. He had originally thought that no Venerable had revived yet. But from this conversation, he knew that it was likely at least one Venerable had already revived. And this revived Venerable, the only female among them, was terrifying, the only Wisdom Path Venerable. This woman was so strong that even after her death, she could scheme against 3 demon Venerables of the future. Even though the true details were quite different from what Heavenly Court publicly announced, it was true that Heavenly Court was saved by Star Constellation's schemes and arrangements, surviving the onslaught of 3 demon Venerables. This contribution was undeniable. Every time Fang Yuan thought about it, he could feel how terrifying it was. As for why Star Constellation Immortal Venerable was no longer a Wisdom Path Supreme Grandmaster, Fang Yuan knew clearly. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable died 3 million years ago during the remote Antiquity era. Too much time had passed. Wisdom Path had developed until today, it had already undergone a complete revolution in terms of improvement and elevation. Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster meant that the Gu Immortals' understanding of the path was already at the limit of heaven and earth, they were already touching that ceiling, they had almost completely understood the profundity of the path. But they were just inches away, unable to break through. As for Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, not only did they need to comprehend the full profundities of the path, they also had to innovate further. At this level, each time the Gu Immortal improves, it would be an unprecedented feat, it would elevate the upper boundaries of the entire path, it would even elevate the whole of heaven and earth to some degree. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable's Wisdom Path Supreme Grandmaster attainment level back in the day was no longer Supreme Grandmaster in today's world. Even though she merged with Heaven's Will and studied Heavenly Court's Wisdom Path research results at all times, this was still true. Forget about the difference between Star Constellation's will and a clone, just Heavenly Court's Wisdom Path research results alone only represented a portion of the whole of Wisdom Path. Only after star constellation Immortal Venerable entered primordial domain could her wisdom path attainment level return to Supreme Grandmaster, she would become a Tao Lord again. What is a Tao Lord? Fong Yuan heard of a new concept from Lu Wei-yin once again. This journey to the Mushroom Man paradise was truly valuable. He had already understood the conditions of Venerable Ascension, he also learned of the Venerable's schemes, and now, the term Tao Lord was likely concerning the secret of Venerable invincibility. As expected, at the next moment, Lu Wei-yin smiled. Why could the past Venerables be invincible in the world? The difference between Venerable and Pseudo-Venerable lies in the concept of Tao Lord. Why could Venerable methods remain for so many years without dissipating? This is also due to the concept of Tao Lord. Before Fong Yuan could ask him, Lu Wei-yin immediately answered, the so-called Tao Lord refers to the Lord of a certain path. When a Gu immortal becomes venerable and has Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, they will be the leader of that path, their own improvement would signify the improvement of the path, that would also be the improvement of heaven and earth, that person is a Tao Lord. As a Tao Lord, the Gu Venerable can sense all of the natural Tao marks of heaven and earth of that particular path and refine them. After refining the Tao marks, the Gu Venerable can manipulate them at will. Fong Yuan could not help but feel shaken. Refine them? Manipulate them at will? Lu Wei-yin continued to speak. After every Venerable becomes venerable, there will be a period of time when they roam the world. For example, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable or Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. But the truth is, during this period, they are refining the natural Tao marks of the world, they are turning the entire world into their personal battlefield killer move. This was the secret of Venerable invincibility. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2087, Obtaining Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance. 2087 Obtaining Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance. So this is the secret of Venerable invincibility. Fong Yuan sighed in his heart. This trip to the Mushroom Man paradise was truly not in vain. Fong Yuan obtained a lot of secrets involving Venerables, he also had some sort of guess towards Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's motive. At this point, the signs shown in Fong Yuan's luck inspection were verified. His luck was like a pure silver pillar of light, even though it was slim, it was tall, shooting towards heaven, seemingly trying to pierce the sky. At the bottom of this dense pure silver light pillar, there was a lump of yellow chi guarding it, looking like a dust cloud that seemed to support the pillar. At the top of the pillar, there were 3 clouds, one was black as ink, one was golden and dazzling, one was shining with starlight. These 3 clouds were phenomena that seemed to be obstructing Fong Yuan's luck from rising further. The black ink cloud should be Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. After all, the current Shadow sect was already left with few members, it had little threat. The starlight cloud was most likely the revived star constellation Immortal Venerable. It radiated mystery, it had an aura filled with wisdom. As for that golden cloud, there was no need to guess, it was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. In the Fate War earlier, Giant Sun's attack came from northern plains with imposing might, arriving in Heavenly Court with unparalleled strength. During the battle to pursue Fong Yuan, even though they lost one legendary immemorial beast, Longevity Heaven's strength did not fall much, they still retained their foundation. The Huangjin family was like the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent, it dominated Northern Plains and ensured that the whole of Northern Plains was controlled by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's bloodline descendants. Crazed Demon Cave was in Northern Plains, there was no way to avoid Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Longevity Heaven. Maybe, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable chose to create Longevity Heaven in Northern Plains not because he was a Northern Plainsman but because of the crucial Crazed Demon Cave, he wanted to make his arrangements. Fong Yuan had many thoughts, he pondered about the deeper meaning of this. If it were him, he would make the same arrangements. If Fate Gu was not destroyed, everything would not matter. But once it was destroyed, the Venerables could revive. By then, whoever occupied Northern Plains and encircled Crazed Demon Cave would have the clear advantage. Fong Yuan looked at Lu Wei-yin again, since Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created the Yellow Earth Great World, then by helping me become venerable, does he also want me to help him revive successfully? Lu Wei-yin nodded and smiled, precisely. Back then, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable brought blessings to the world, but his main true inheritances were left in the 5 regions. Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance is here. Eastern Seas Paradise Earth True Inheritance is in the Blue Dragon Whale. Central Continent's Paradise Earth True Inheritance is Reincarnation Battlefield. Northern Plains Paradise Earth True Inheritance is inside the Yellow Earth Great World. As for Western Deserts Paradise Earth True Inheritance, someone seems to have taken it already. Venerables have left behind their revival methods, but they are limited. As long as they are destroyed in advance, these venerables will not be able to revive. But if they revive, the difficulty to take them down will be at a whole new level compared to before. Now that Fate Gu has been destroyed, the river of time's lower stream is in turbulence and chaos, the world is experiencing an unprecedented shift in era. Who can be sure of what will happen in the future? Not just venerable revival, just talking about Great Dream Immortal Venerable alone, will she still appear? Pseudo-venerable is just pseudo-venerable in the end. By now, Fang Yuan, I am sure that you no longer suspect our sincerity. As long as you help Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable revive, we will be the closest allies. Not only will we give you Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance, we will also provide clues for Eastern Seas and Central Continent's Paradise Earth True Inheritances. The value is simply immeasurable. Fang Yuan was silent. Lu Wei-yin was here to convince him. He was not just qualified to do so, he was incredibly skilled. As expected, every venerable had extremely deep wisdom. Fang Yuan was starting to understand the accuracy of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's scheme. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not need to worry that Fang Yuan would reject him. Because the things that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable offered had immense value, not only would Fang Yuan be moved, he also needed these venerable secrets urgently. The reason why Lu Wei-yin exposed these secrets to Fang Yuan earlier was not because he was stupid or generous. It was because Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable knew about Fang Yuan's nature. To work wholeheartedly with a person like Fang Yuan, the first condition was that he needed to be assured. Otherwise, even though Fang Yuan was a risk-taker, with his immense vigilance, he would not help to revive a venerable while only being a pseudo-venerable. Thus, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable needed to help Fang Yuan become venerable. Red Lotus and Spectral Soul were worried that Fang Yuan would become unstoppable when he became a venerable, thus they wanted to get rid of him. But Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable wanted to help Fang Yuan in this. While the other venerables were fighting alone, he had already cooperated with Fang Yuan. Venerables were the strongest existences in heaven and earth, they were at the limit of the world. In a contest between such individuals, their strength would usually be quite equal, any bit of difference would decide the eventual outcome. Thus, if Paradise Earth worked together with Fang Yuan, the advantage would be huge. All these were simply alluring temptations. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not just tempt Fang Yuan with the present gains, he even lured Fang Yuan with the future benefits of working together. Of course, other than allure, there was also pressure. Lu Wei-yin had already told Fang Yuan clearly, the venerables want to revive in Crazed Demon Cave, would you not stop them? If not, after losing this opportunity, you will definitely suffer in the future. Fang Yuan, look at what you've done in the past. Longevity Heaven, Heavenly Court, and Shadow Sect were all his enemies. If the venerables revived, they would not let him off. Even if they had no grudges, as a pseudo-venerable closest to the level of venerables, would those revived venerables want more chess players in this world to compete with them? Paradise Earth was a good person, he only expressed kindness to others. However, Paradise Earth's magnanimity and scheming ability definitely lived up to his title as a venerable. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable tempted and pressured Fang Yuan at the same time, what would he choose? How else could he choose? At the next moment, Fang Yuan nodded with a grim expression, all right, I agree to this. Let's set the agreement. Lu Wei-yin waved his hand, I believe in you, Fang Yuan, why would we need to set an agreement? He was bullshitting. The true reason was that Fang Yuan had methods like myriad beings assimilation transformation, almost no alliance agreements in the world could restrict him. Lu Wei-yin had no choice but to show his tolerance in this issue. Fang Yuan was a logical person, if he was not logical and vigilant, he would not reach this stage today. Precisely because of his logic and wariness, he knew that working together with Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had benefits, while refusing had its demerits. This was more effective than any alliance agreement in the world. Lu Wei-yin slowly stood up. Since we are in an alliance, Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance is yours now. Please follow me. Fang Yuan followed Lu Wei-yin and left the house, going to a mountain peak. Outside the house, the sky was tall and the clouds were wide, the fields under the mountains were green, the breeze was gentle and the trees were swaying slowly. Lu Wei-yin pointed at the base of the mountain. Fang Yuan, firstly, this Mushroom Man Paradise is now your property. You can freely annex it, of course, you can let it remain here as your territory in Southern Borders Gu Immortal World. Fang Yuan was moved. This gift was not a small one. Mushroom Man Paradise had existed for over 100,000 years, it had abundant resources, comparable with top-tier grotto heavens in the two heavens. Let alone the giant resource points inside, just the countless mushroom men living here were definitely something unique among the 5 regions and 2 heavens. This was the best mushroom man resource in the world, there was no contest. Next, Lu Wei-yin handed Fang Yuan more than 10 immortal Gu, they were mostly Earth Path. Among them, one was an information path immortal Gu that recorded the details of Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance. Fang Yuan's divine sense entered and saw everything at once. He found that this true inheritance had 3 components. The main part was the Earth Path True Inheritance. There was the core killer move, Paradise Creation. After using this move, the immortal aperture would no longer have calamities and tribulations. The second part was related to Human Path. Fang Yuan had seen the contents before. When Lu Wei-yin tried to reform Fang Yuan in the Dream Realm, Fang Yuan had obtained this virtue True Inheritance before. This True Inheritance had a weird requirement. It needed the inheritor to maintain a just heart, to be a virtuous person. The greater the user's virtues, the easier it was when cultivating. The core immortal Gu was accumulate virtue Gu. As long as Fang Yuan did good deeds and acted kindly, it would continue to refine itself. The greater the accumulation of kindness, the higher the rank of the accumulate virtue Gu refined. Accumulate virtue Gu had many incredible uses. The most useful one was to modify Fang Yuan's physique into the righteous virtue physique that was only inferior to the 10 extreme physiques, but it did not have any of the 10 extreme physiques flaws, it represented a limitless future and potential. Fang Yuan only took a few looks before he sighed in amazement towards Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's talent. Earlier, he had only interacted with a small portion in his dream, he did not understand its full profundity. The Human Path segment of Southern Borders Paradise Earth True Inheritance opened a new door for Fang Yuan. He saw a new perspective of Human Path. It stemmed from the morals of people, developing in this direction. If Gu cultivators chose to cultivate this way, it would definitely create change and become a central part of Gu cultivation in the future. If this cultivation information was spread widely, it would definitely cause the righteous path to prosper. Additionally, the refinement method of accumulate virtue Gu was also incredible. It was able to refine accumulate virtue Gu in the person's body through acts of righteousness and kindness. This was a type of human body Gu refinement method, or rather, a human path Gu refinement method. From this aspect, one could see that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had shocking refinement path attainment. Fang Yuan currently lacked this essence of refinement path, it was a huge inspiration to him. I am only a quasi-supreme in refinement path, mainly consisting of the hairy man Gu refinement method. To become a genuine supreme grandmaster, I lack these things. But how many of these things are in existence? Where are they left at? This human path refinement method of accumulate virtue Gu seems to have some similarity with Xianxia's hatred Gu refinement. Fang Yuan thought about it for a while, he was secretly happy internally. He next moved his attention to the third portion of Paradise Earth's True Inheritance. This was regarding the dream path. The core killer move was, 3 lifetime dreams reform a chosen one. This killer move used Fetus Earth Maze as the foundation to create a dream realm. It allowed the people who entered the dream to live in the same dream together for 3 lifetimes, one could experience the mortal lives fully and comprehend life and death, understanding the vicissitudes of human ways and forgetting the evil in their heart, turning over a new leaf. Fang Yuan had already been hit by this move before. Lu Weiyin was the user. The reason why Lu Weiyin understood Fang Yuan's nature and goals so well was also because of this move. Thus, Fang Yuan obtained 2 rank 7 Dream Path Immortal Gu from him. The first was Dreaming Immortal Gu. It was the core Immortal Gu of 3 lifetime dreams reform a chosen one. It was not a surprise. The other Immortal Gu made Fang Yuan very happy. Even though this Immortal Gu is only rank 7, it carries a huge significance in my case. Its importance surpasses rank 8 Immortal Gu, and even rank 9. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2088, Dream Path Master. Chapter 2088, Dream Path Master. The Dream Path Immortal Gu held in Fang Yuan's hands now was a round ruby-like jewel that was cut in half. This semicircular ball-shaped Gu worm looked very cute. Its red color was also very attractive. Its head was only 10% of its body, its back was round and smooth, there were black markings all over, resembling a tortoise shell. This was rank 7 Dream Path Immortal Gu, Dream Armor. It was a defensive Dream Path Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan had many Immortal Gu currently, but he only had 1 Dream Path Immortal Gu. It was rank 8 Dream Token, the core Immortal Gu of Dragon Palace. Dream Token was shaped like a dragonfly. It had a round head and long body, with a pair of pink ruby eyes and 4 pairs of transparent wings. Looking closely at its thin wings, one would also see a faint layer of rainbow halo. Looking at the two, Fang Yuan found that Dream Path Immortal Gu seemed to all look very pretty. I wonder what dream travel and dream wings look like. Fang Yuan could not help but think. He had 500 years of memories. He knew that Dream Wings Immortal Gu was in the hands of Feng Jin Huang, while Dream Travel Immortal Gu was in Lady Poison Scorpion's hands. It was not that Fang Yuan had no intentions of targeting them. All along, he could not effectively deal with Feng Jin Huang, while he had little confidence in regards to Lady Poison Scorpion. In his previous life, Dream Travel, Carefree Travel, Fixed Immortal Travel, and Liquor God Travel were the publicly recognized 4 Great Movement Immortal Gu. Even though Fang Yuan was strong, Lady Poison Scorpion could travel through dreams and instantly enter any single dream realm. Currently, Dream Path is still not developed enough. Dream realms have not manifested everywhere in the outside world. Dream Path Immortal materials are still rare, while Dream Path Immortal Gu are even rarer, and yet I already own 3 of them. Fang Yuan was quite happy with this result. In the previous life, the manifested dream realms were even larger than Spectral Soul's dream realm. They were everywhere in the 5 regions. Thus, everyone could enter dream realms for exploration. It was unlike now where dream realms were occupied by the experts. A vast amount of dream realms meant countless opportunities for Gu cultivators to excavate Dream Path Gu materials. With these materials, Dream Path started to develop rapidly as a path. Thus, at this current time, Dream Path had only started to grow in its initial state. Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm, Paradise Earth's Dream Realm, and Spectral Soul's Dream Realm were just small flames that could not boil this entire pot of water. To boil the pot of water that was Dream Path, Spectral Soul's Dream Realm was just too small. The entire world's strength was needed. In Fang Yuan's case, the Immortal Gu Dreaming and Dream Token were even less important than Dream Armor. Because Dream Armor was a defensive Immortal Gu. With this Immortal Gu, he would have the capability of resisting Dream Path tribulations. The pure Dream Reality Seeker clone would be able to undergo Immortal Ascension. Fang Yuan recalled his luck inspection results earlier. The pure Dream clone's luck was like a pink sandbox. It was very small, but yellow sand entered it continuously, turning into pink sand that strengthened the sandbox. The sandbox luck predicted that the pure Dream clone would receive the help of Paradise Earth. Now it seemed like that was truly the case. Fang Yuan activated Cooking Luck Pot again to inspect his luck. His silver luck pillar did not change much. The pillar of light only became slightly larger while most of the yellow sand below it had vanished. The pure dream clone's luck was still like a pink sandbox, but no more yellow sand fell into it. The sand pile in the box was very tall. There was a feeling of collapse or breakthrough at the next moment. I gained Southern Border's Paradise Earth True Inheritance. With his help, the pure dream clone has the opportunity to break through. But even so, the risks are still huge. I need to make even more preparation. Fang Yuan quickly understood. After Cooking Luck Pot reached rank 8, Fang Yuan obtained even more benefits from Luck Path. He was increasingly feeling the advantage of Luck Path. It was no wonder that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable managed to rise to the top back then. Crazed Demon Cave was definitely a place to visit, but Fang Yuan could not go now. Currently, his strength was growing explosively. Fang Yuan intended to raise his battle strength to the limit before heading to Crazed Demon Cave. Even though Lu Wei-yin claimed that the situation was extremely urgent, Fang Yuan had luck inspection. He knew that he still had some precious time left. More preparation leads to better future results. Let me first research on dream path methods before I help the pure dream clone to ascend. Fang Yuan looked at himself. His dream path knowledge was undoubtedly the number one in the current world. The knowledge of dream realm exploration that he brought along with rebirth was still the top-tier research result of the current world, but his advantage was quickly shrinking. However, after Fang Yuan was reborn, he still made incredible progress in dream path. The killer move Unravel Dream came from his memories. From Shadow Sect, he obtained Lead Soul into Dream, Switch Soul and Dream, and Pure Dream Reality Seeker transformation. From Dragon Palace, he obtained Dreamy Light Smoke, Dream Within Dream, and Dream Revelation. And now from Southern Border's Paradise Earth True Inheritance, he obtained 3 lifetime dreams Reform a Chosen One. Fang Yuan had more Dream Path killer moves than Dream Path Immortal Gu. Many of the Dream Path killer moves had core Immortal Gu of other paths. There was no helping it. He used a vast number of Dream Path Mortal Gu in place of a Dream Path Immortal Gu. For example, killer moves like Lead Soul into Dream and Switch Soul in Dream. What I need now is a Dream Path defensive killer move that uses Dream Armor Immortal Gu as the core. After that, I need a Dream Path movement method so that I can escape danger and gain some time to recuperate. After that is healing and finally offense. Even though Fang Yuan's Dream Path attainment level was ordinary, he was confident in creating new Dream Path killer moves. The reason was that he had unrestrained Heavenly Mark. He could create a large number of compound killer moves. Longevity Heaven and Heavenly Court were definitely plotting to contest in Crazed Demon Cave. They would not send troops to attack Fang Yuan's variant human alliance. Not to mention approaching Fang Yuan. As for the Southern Alliance led by Wu Yong, they would be glad if Fang Yuan did not find them for trouble. Why would they come to him and court death? The external environment was unprecedentedly safe. Fang Yuan started to enter closed cultivation. He created Dream Path killer moves. He made good progress every day. More than 10 days later, Fang Yuan suddenly stopped, entering a daze. He advanced to Dream Path Master. This was the explosive growth of his accumulation. It was extremely smooth after long periods of foundation building. When creating his killer moves, he had unknowingly succeeded and stepped into the next realm. Ever since rebirth, Fang Yuan had been pressured by external forces. He had never invested any time or energy into Dream Path. Until now, he started to truly cultivate Dream Path. He put effort into it. Because his foundation was deep, he was able to progress rapidly from the start, raising his Dream Path attainment level. Master attainment level. The Gu cultivators' use of Gu worms had already reached an artistic level. They were no longer amateurs. The most evident trait was the emergence of instinct. Their understanding of Gu worms and the conceptualization of immortal killer moves for that path had also turned into the cultivators' innate ability. It was like a natural skill that came with them from birth, smooth and easy to use. For example, Fang Yuan had a very vague idea of Dream Path Gu worm compatibility for killer moves. He had to try to find out if they would succeed or fail. But now, before trying, his instincts would tell him if some ideas were more feasible or if they were meant to fail even without trying, whether he would only waste his time, energy, and resource if he went ahead. Good. Having Dream Path Master attainment level is truly icing on the cake. My dream path achievement is definitely at the top of the current world. But, this might change after some time. In the memories of Fang Yuan's previous life, there were many dream path geniuses. Among them were shocking talents like Feng Jin Huang and Lady Poison Scorpion. Raising dream path attainment level was much easier for them compared to others. Some people were born with compatibility with certain paths. Talent was something that could not be explained. Especially for great dream immortal venerable seeds like Feng Jin Huang and Lady Poison Scorpion. Fang Yuan had self-awareness. He knew that others would surpass him soon in the aspect of dream path attainment level. But Fang Yuan would not give up on developing dream path. He would not commit the same mistake as in his previous life. Dream path was the great trend ahead, the revolution of the future. There was a huge advantage in a new path. But now is not the time to truly cultivate dream path. Fang Yuan understood his circumstances clearly. He had to become a venerable first to resist the external threats. Only then would he have time and opportunities to develop his dream path slowly. After hearing of the 4 venerable ascension conditions from Lu Weiyin, after careful consideration, Fang Yuan guessed that refinement path would be the most likely path that he would become venerable in. First becoming a venerable in refinement path, then going on to becoming venerable in other paths. This was the advantage of the sovereign immortal body. The other venerables would only be able to stare at his growth. Even though Spectral Soul knew how to refine sovereign immortal fetus Gu, after failing in his pursuit of Fang Yuan, he had already fallen behind in terms of progress. Fang Yuan had far greater potential for development than the current venerables. At the same time, Central Continent, Spirit Affinity House. In a certain Gu refinement secret room within Spirit Affinity House, Feng Jin Huang's Gu refinement was reaching its crucial stage. I am about to succeed. Feng Jin Huang's eyes shined. As long as I refine this dream path mortal Gu, I will have defensive abilities in dream realms. This is definitely a huge breakthrough. Ugh. Suddenly, the light in front of Feng Jin Huang exploded. The Gu refinement failed as she coughed out a mouthful of blood, falling down. How did this happen? Feng Jin Huang was extremely shocked. This was not supposed to happen. The dream path mortal Gu recipe had been checked more than 10 times. How could there be a mistake? Even if any mistake was present, it should not have triggered at this crucial point. This is not a problem with my Gu recipe, the problem is the Gu material. Feng Jin Huang's head was hurting greatly, but she still understood what had happened. When refining the Gu, I did my inspection. The Gu materials must have been tampered with, and it must be the work of an immortal, that is why I could not notice it. I was plotted against. Someone wants me dead. Thinking of this, a deep chill emerged from the depths of Feng Jin Huang's heart. She struggled to get up but halfway, she fell over. Her face was pale as her aura weakened, the strength in her body dissipated as well. I am going to die here. Feng Jin Huang gritted her teeth as tears appeared in her eyes. Her beautiful and elegant face was plastered on the cold ground, she had no strength to raise it herself. Master. Before dying, Feng Jin Huang thought of Duke Long, her mother, and her father. I am not willing to die here. Feng Jin Huang shouted in her heart. Suddenly, she heard some quarreling outside. Fairy, fairy, you cannot go in. I, Zhao Lianyun, am the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House. I can use any Gu refinement room I want. Why can't I choose this best room? Fairy, this room has been taken already. You barged in like this. What if an accident occurs when the person inside is refining Gu? Accident? Humph. How can there be any accident? The moment she said that, there was a loud sound. The third door of the secret room was forcefully opened. Ah, what is going on? The Gu master in charge of the Gu refinement secret room became pale with shock. Her Gu refinement failed, she suffered a backlash. Quickly give way, how can a Gu master like you save her from these injuries? Zhao Lianyun pushed the Gu master aside, a dark light flickering in her eyes. The Gu master was covered in sweat, thinking about the history between Feng Jin Huang and Zhao Lianyun. She was flustered and did not know what to do. Aren't you scramming? If you interrupt my healing, can you bear the consequences? Zhao Lianyun called out again. The Gu master gritted her teeth. Fairy, ah. Zhao Lianyun waved her hand, a lump of profound light sent the Gu master flying far away. Zhao Lianyun approached Feng Jin Huang as she squatted down. The two peerless beauties looked at each other. The Gu refinement's secret room fell into dead silence. This was truly a twist of fate, the two of them had reversed statuses at the moment. Feng Jin Huang was not flustered in the face of death, she said calmly, so you are the ones who want me dead. She was intelligent. After seeing Zhao Lianyun, she thought of Li Juning and Su Hao. The latter two had deep grudges with Feng Gu. Zhao Lianyun sighed as she extended her hand towards Feng Jin Huang. Feng Jin Huang had no strength to resist, her vision fell into darkness. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2089, Come Compete Yourself. Chapter 2089 Come Compete Yourself. Water vapor surged, 3 Gu immortals flew rapidly among the clouds. Faster, faster. The Gu immortal in front was the current first supreme elder of Spirit Affinity House. The 3 Spirit Affinity House immortals that were moving showed unease and anxiety on their faces. It turned out that after Zhao Lianyun forcefully sent the rank 5 Gu master guarding the Gu refinement room away, this Gu master felt very worried and went to inform the higher-ups of Spirit Affinity House. After receiving the news, First Supreme Elder and the rest could not wait anymore, they quickly rushed towards the place. Nothing had to happen to Feng Jin Huang. Earlier, even though Feng Gu betrayed them in the Fate War and caused Fairy Bai Qing and Feng Jin Huang to fall from grace, Heavenly Court dealt with the issue calmly, they did not punish the two of them. According to the rules of the righteous path, they could not punish them. This was because Feng Jin Huang and Fairy Bai Qing did not betray their sect. Feng Jin Huang was even the disciple of Duke Long. During the pursuit of Fang Yuan, Qin Dingling handed out emergency orders. Spirit Affinity House's first Supreme Elder personally controlled the Immortal Gu House and brought Feng Jin Huang to the battlefield, where she collected all of the dream realms that Fang Yuan left behind. Feng Jin Huang made a huge contribution in this battle. Before the first Supreme Elder left, Qin Dingling secretly transmitted to her and said, "Take good care of Feng Jin Huang. Even with the destruction of Fate Gu, Dream Path is still the future trend of the world." Spirit Affinity House instantly understood the intention of Heavenly Court, they still thought highly of Feng Jin Huang and wanted to nurture her. All of the dream realms that Feng Jin Huang collected were kept with her, Heavenly Court did not take a single one away. The 3 immortals flew into the Gu refinement secret room directly. "Fairy Lianyun, you need to calm down, The 3 immortals were surprised. They did not see Feng Jin Huang's corpse, instead, they saw that Feng Jin Huang and Zhao Lianyun were facing each other. Traces of blood was still seen on Feng Jin Huang's lips, but using their investigative methods, the 3 immortals found that she was very healthy, completely uninjured. What is going on? Did Zhao Lianyun really save Feng Jin Huang? This is too strange. Zhao Lianyun has always been part of the anti-Feng faction. Feng Jin Huang failed her Gu refinement this time, she came at a peculiar timing, she evidently wanted to deal a fatal blow. Why did this happen? The 3 immortals were unable to understand. Looking at the situation, Feng Jin Huang had the upper hand, while Zhao Lianyun's expression was quite ugly. Feng Jin Huang, very well done. Zhao Lianyun looked at Feng Jin Huang deeply in the eyes, she spoke with deep meaning before leaving. She walked past the 3 immortals without even greeting them, this went against her usual demeanor, it showed how terrible her mood was. Feng Jin Huang wiped the blood traces off her lips as she smiled and greeted the 3 supreme elders. The 3 immortals quickly understood the reason, they sighed in their hearts. This must be due to Feng Jin Huang's plan, she must have sensed something and went along with the scheme to lure out the enemies, causing Zhao Lianyun to expose herself. Ever since the Fate War, Feng Jin Huang's improvement has been very evident. Predicaments truly help to train people. But what should we do about their conflict? The three immortals were secretly troubled. On one hand, there was the anti-Feng faction. Li Juning and Su Hao were the pillars holding this faction up. They helped Zhao Lianyun become the current generation fairy of Spirit Affinity House. With her addition, the faction was already the #1 force within Spirit Affinity House. On the other hand, there were Fairy Bai Qing and Feng Jin Huang. This mother and daughter pair was not easy to deal with. They had deep foundations. Even though Feng Jin Huang seemed to have lost her grace, she was still very important to Heavenly Court. After all, her father was Feng Gu. Even though he betrayed the righteous path, as long as he was not dead, Spirit Affinity House could not ignore his existence. The conflict between the two factions became the greatest internal threat of Spirit Affinity House, but the first Supreme Elder was unable to do anything. Feng Jin Huang, if you want to refine Gu in the future, you can come to my mountain peak. The first Supreme Elder looked at Feng Jin Huang for a while before speaking amicably. She pretended not to know about the fact that Zhao Lianyun came to find trouble earlier. There was no direct evidence. The only evidence was the Gu refinement materials, but they were destroyed already. Even if there was evidence, the first Supreme Elder would likely not want to deal with it. Having it manifest now would just trigger the internal threat, causing the decline of the sect. The first Supreme Elder was very mature. She knew that Spirit Affinity House had fallen into some internal strife now. It was like a volcano bound to erupt soon. She needed to use a pot lid and cover the top, stalling for as much time as she could. During this period, she had to dig some routes to redirect the lava away and release the inner pressure to stabilize the situation. Zhao Lianyun returned to her mountain with a livid expression. She did not enter the hall. She stood on the mountain peak, looking at the dark weather. She knew that someone would come. As expected, a while later, Su Hao and Li Juning flew over together. This couple's expressions were not good. Along the way, they already knew that the plan had failed. But they still needed to find out the details from Zhao Lianyun herself. Before Su Hao or Li Juning spoke, Zhao Lianyun already asked them, how did Feng Jin Huang find out the flaw in the Gu materials? Do you have anything to say about this failure? Su Hao was silent. Li Juning said grimly, I underestimated Feng Jin Huang. Lianyun, you know about my title as illusory fairy. I am skilled at such things. Especially when I became a Shadow Path Great Grandmaster recently, even if the Gu material were to be placed in front of First Supreme Elder, she might not have found out. Zhao Lianyun's expression was cold as she waved her sleeves in anger, but it happened anyway. What explanation do you have? Su Hao spoke, maybe Duke Long left Feng Jin Huang some defensive methods. Or maybe this is the power of Dream Path. After all, we are not familiar with Dream Path. That demon Fang Yuan has also relied on Dream Path to fight strong enemies while he was weak. Su Hao continued, alright, this was our mistake. Fairy Lianyun, according to our agreement, after helping us with this matter, we no longer owe each other anything. Since this plan failed, let it be, it was our fault after all, we will treat it as a completed task. From today onwards, we do not owe each other anything. Hearing his words, Li Juning showed anxiety on her face. She wanted to speak, but Su Hao stopped her with his hand. Zhao Lianyun's expression eased at this moment. She nodded at the two immortals before turning around and leaving without speaking. The two immortals saw that Zhao Lianyun went into her palace. They had to return. Along the way, Li Juning said angrily, if not for our help, how could this Zhao Lianyun have gotten the divine concealment of thieving heaven's true inheritance? If not for our help, how could she have become the current generation fairy? She actually wants to keep a clear distance from us now. She is truly an ingrate. And husband, you actually let her off so easily. Do you know that she is the best weapon for us to deal with Feng Gu? To think that you are a wisdom path cultivator, sigh. Su Hao smiled, my dear wife, don't worry. Even though we failed, there were gains too. Firstly, we learned about Heavenly Court's intentions through the first Supreme Elder's actions. Secondly, we now have Zhao Lianyun on our side for good. Thirdly, we also found out some of Feng Jin Huang's abilities. Li Juning was slightly dazed before she realized, that's right, even though we failed, Zhao Lianyun also became enemies with Feng Jin Huang. Even if we do not look for Zhao Lianyun, Feng Jin Huang will eventually repay her for this. The enemy of an enemy is a friend, so she is still on our side. Precisely. Su Hao nodded. Li Juning smiled. Husband, you are really a wisdom path cultivator. I was wrong earlier. Su Hao smiled, showing a gaze full of bitterness. Feng Jin Huang is truly the daughter of Feng Gu. Her attitude, talent, and dream path method surpass my expectations. Our original plan was to use Feng Jin Huang as the bait to lure Feng Gu into attacking Spirit Affinity House angrily, to make him conflict with Heavenly Court. Su Hao and Li Junying's target was still Feng Gu after all. Even though Feng Gu was strong and even 10 of Li Junying and Su Hao together could not fight him, was there really a need to face him in combat? Humans were the spirit of living beings. There were many ways to kill an enemy stronger than yourself. Su Hao, who cultivated Wisdom Path, thought of a plan to use Heavenly Court as the blade to exterminate Feng Gu. This was the flair of a Wisdom Path Gu immortal. He was skilled at using other people or situations to achieve his goal. This plan failed. I truly underestimated Feng Jin Huang. After this, she will definitely stay by her mother's side. We will not have many opportunities to strike again in the future. Su Hao was very worried. Feng Gu had once suppressed Su Hao, causing him to live a life shrouded by darkness. This was their grudge. When Feng Gu was in Spirit Affinity House, his family occupied all of the resources, causing Li Juning and Su Hao to progress slowly in cultivation. This involved their benefits. Feng Jin Huang cultivated Dream Path and was highly regarded by Heavenly Court. She was the forerunner of the new era. This was a future threat. Spirit Affinity House and Heavenly Court could not be depended on. The only one who could defend Su Hao's benefits was Su Hao himself. If he did not do his best, who would help him? The journey of cultivation involves competition and conflict. We can only win if we stake our lives on important gambles. Su Hao muttered, determination flashing in his eyes again. Some days later. Eastern Sea. On a nameless island in a nameless sea area, Fang Yuan let out his Dream Path clone. Start. Fang Yuan said plainly. The Dream Path clone nodded as he took a deep breath, shattering his aperture at the next moment. The complete pure dream reality seeker physique's aperture was different from an ordinary rank 5 aperture. It was constantly alternating between shattering and forming at all times, yet its aperture wall had a thin layer that was able to fix this Dream Path aperture in place. At this time, Fang Yuan's Dream Path clone only used primeval essence to assault the wall before it shattered. At the next moment, formless heavenly power surged towards him from all over the place as the pure dream clone's body started to rise into the air. Rumble. Clouds gathered in the sky as thunder rumbled. The waves around the island became more intense, soon turning into huge tides. The environment became quite hostile. Using goo worms in this area, be they immortal or mortal, would result in backlash. If the backlash was severe, even immortal goo would be destroyed. Heaven's Will was seemingly enraged. Fang Yuan was a hated scoundrel. He actually wanted to become a Dream Path Gu immortal in advance. This was not part of the plan of Heaven's Will. This went against the arrangement of fate. It could not be spared. It could not be forgiven. Fang Yuan looked up at the sky, his gaze was peaceful yet determined. So what if the heavenly Tao did not allow it? Then contest. Then fight. In this world, the most reliable thing was neither your clan or sect, nor your family or lover, it was yourself. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2090, Meng Qiu Zhen. Chapter 2090 Meng Qiu Zhen. Fang Yuan's pure dream clone had already shattered his aperture to start the immortal ascension. Once this process started, it could not be stopped. Either he became an immortal or he would face failure in death. Heaven Qi poured down like a calm yet swift breeze, Earth Qi rose up with a heavy and stable feeling. The pure dream clone emitted a dense human Qi as well. The complete pure dream reality seeker physique was the 11th extreme physique. It contained an immense amount of human chi to begin with. As the three chi converged, chi currents surged and intertwined, creating a huge cocoon that enveloped the pure dream clone's entire body tightly, leaving no gaps outside. At this juncture, Gu masters had to be mindful to regulate the three chi and fuse them together. The three chi had to be balanced. If human chi was slightly in excess, it would lead to self-detonation. If heaven chi was slightly more, the Gu master would dissolve into the sky. If earth chi was slightly denser, the Gu master would turn into a fossil and suffocate to death. This step was precarious. But Fang Yuan had absolute confidence in the pure dream clone. He had already given the pure dream clone an abundance of memories regarding immortal ascension. This not only included Fang Yuan himself but also those he soul-searched. For example, the northern plains Gu immortals like He Cheng, or southern border Gu immortals like Xianxia. There were also many eastern sea, central continent, and western desert Gu immortals that Fang Yuan harmed. In the long history of Gu cultivation, in terms of immortal ascension experience, the pure dream clone's accumulation was definitely rare. The difficulty of the pure dream clone's immortal ascension was not the three chi, but the tribulation. In the sky, heaven and earth chi rumbled like a turbulent sea. A vast amount of pink fog covered the sky of a few thousand li. It was grand and majestic, emitting a dense aura of dream path. Fang Yuan's main body was solemnly awaiting it. This immortal ascension definitely enraged heavens will greatly. The difficulty was far beyond ordinary. Bam bam bam. At the next moment, rumbling thunder could be heard unceasingly. Within the sea of pink clouds, more than 10 balls of light shot down. These balls were all pink in color. They were large as mountains. The surfaces were smooth without any impurities. The balls of light did not move quickly. They gave people a feeling of being weightless. As the 10 pink balls descended, they were aimed at the pure dream clone who was floating in the air. Fang Yuan immediately acted to obstruct them. There were countless thoughts accumulated in his mind. At once, his thoughts collided. Killer moves were unleashed in rapid succession, creating a huge sky of fireworks that blocked the 10 pink balls. The following scene was a slight shock to Fang Yuan. One pink ball shattered into countless bubbles that spread in the sky. One pink ball engulfed everything in its path as it expanded by several times. One pink ball shattered and turned into desolate beast nightmare demonic colts, rapidly approaching the pure dream clone. One pink ball turned into a lump of dream realms that flew over. One pink ball turned into a dream path immortal Gu, rapidly vanishing into thin air. The 10 pink balls had varying effects. It was a chaotic scene. Any ordinary Gu immortal would have flustered by now, but with Fang Yuan's deep wisdom path attainment, he made the most appropriate reaction right away. He first released the desolate level year beasts in his immortal aperture to resist the nightmare demonic colts. Next, he waved his sleeves. Dense smoke flew out and captured all of the dream butterflies that got close to the pure dream clone. After that, he used pure dream reality seeker transformation on the dream realm. But this dream realm still approached the top of the pure dream clone's head as its form changed violently, resisting Fang Yuan's pure dream reality seeker transformation. It seems that this dream realm contains heaven's will. Fang Yuan did not worry. Even though he had not undergone a dream path immortal ascension before, he had already made many deductions regarding this. This was one of the scenarios that he deduced. A large amount of wisdom path and dream path Gu worms were rapidly activated in the sovereign immortal aperture. They formed a killer move, Heaven's Will Dissipation. This killer move was modified by Fang Yuan. It was originally able to dispel the Heaven's Will in dream realms, but the efficiency was too low. After modification, by adding in dream path immortal Gu, the speed became faster. However, the brand new Heaven's Will Dissipation could not work on this dream realm. What is going on? Fang Yuan frowned. At the next moment, thoughts collided in his mind. Inspiration flashed. This dream realm is fake. This is why pure dream reality seeker transformation did not work earlier. Even if I use Heaven's Will Dissipation, the result is the same. But in that case, a dark light flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes as he hesitated for once, looking at the scene in front of me. What is real and what is fake? The seemingly chaotic tribulation had real and fake elements to it. But even with Fang Yuan's strength, he could not tell. One skill to dominate the world, this was the power of Dream Path. Even Fang Yuan's main body succumbed to it unknowingly. Indeed, the pure dream clone is only undergoing immortal ascension. The tribulation cannot be this powerful. There were desolate beasts and Dream Path immortal Gu. Why did I not realize this earlier? Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk uncontrollably. The Dream Path tribulation was truly peculiar. Not only could it blur reality and truth, it could even silently affect Fang Yuan's thoughts and mental state. Dream Armor Immortal Gu had been given to the pure dream clone long ago. Fang Yuan quickly used his compound killer move. Using Dreaming Immortal Gu as the core, his body started to shine in a layer of profound light. It was able to defend against some Dream Path abilities. Fang Yuan instantly felt his mind clearing up. He was no longer disrupted when thinking. But that did not help the tribulation that the clone was facing. At this time, Fang Yuan could only stop his actions. Just a mere rank 6 tribulation was able to force the pseudo-venerable Fang Yuan to no longer take action. Because soon, Fang Yuan realized that he could not decipher the reality and illusion of this scene. Was that the case for the pure dream clone too? Even though Fang Yuan felt that the pure dream clone's cocoon had never changed location, it was likely that its traces had already been concealed. If Fang Yuan did anything now, he might be killing the pure dream clone in reality. At this time, Dream Path defensive methods became extremely precious. Fang Yuan did not move. He let the Dream Path tribulation hit him, only using the compound killer move to defend himself. As for the pure dream clone, he was defended by Dream Armor Immortal Gu. The pure dream clone did not have the sovereign immortal body. He could not use Fang Yuan's compound killer moves. The pure dream clone also had to stabilize the 3 chi. He could not divert his precious thoughts into activating any Dream Path killer moves. The truth was, Fang Yuan was only a Dream Path master. He could not create Dream Path killer moves compatible with the pure dream clone in this short period of time. Thus, the pure dream clone directly activated Dream Armor Immortal Gu instead. Even though Dream Armor Immortal Gu was rank 7, the pure dream clone had the immortal essence that the main body gave him. Fang Yuan was very patient. He watched the dream realm descend upon his clone. He watched as the nightmare demonic colts got free from the year beasts and attacked the pure dream clone. The Dream Path tribulation lasted for over 45 minutes before the clouds in the sky dissipated. Heaven and earth was clear again. As heaven and earth chi faded away, the sea became calm again. The nightmare demonic colts on the ground returned to their original form. They were actually the desolate level year beasts that Fang Yuan released earlier. As expected, the cocoon was not far away. It was to the left of Fang Yuan. This discovery made Fang Yuan's heart turn cold. The cocoon was at a dangerous spot. If Fang Yuan used any killer move, he could likely implicate it. By then, Fang Yuan's main body would be the culprit that killed the pure dream clone. The Dream Path Immortal Ascension was truly dangerous. If Fang Yuan took risks, it was likely that his main body would be the biggest obstacle for his clone's tribulation. Thankfully, Fang Yuan was vigilant and only did the tribulation after getting Dream Armor Immortal Gu. Even so, this immortal ascension was very dangerous. He almost failed to pass it. This Dream Path tribulation even managed to affect my main body. Let's call it bewildering illusion dream tribulation. Even though Fang Yuan also had a compound killer move that contained Dreaming Immortal Gu and could be used for investigation, this killer move was clearly not enough to decipher the truth. The key was that he had too few Dream Path Immortal Gu. Dream Armor was with the clone. The main body only had rank 7 Dreaming and rank 8 Dream Token. If Dream Token was used alone, the user would die from using it, because this Immortal Gu uses all of the Gu Immortal's foundation, immortal essence, emotions, true meaning, to create a dream realm. The size and power of the dream realm would depend on the situation. Back then, Wu Shuai was a peak rank 8 Gu Immortal. he was a quasi-supreme grandmaster in enslavement path. After sacrificing his life, Dragon Palace gained the power to enslave the 4 dragon generals. Dream Token was very hard to use alone, killer moves that used it as the core were very difficult to activate. In Fang Yuan's case, it was not even as useful as rank 7 Dreaming Immortal Gu. The 3 chi fused into one lump. The pure Dream clone tossed a rank 5 Dream Butterfly Mortal Gu into it. At the next moment, there was a loud sound as the 3 chi exploded, creating an immortal aperture. With the creation of the immortal aperture, it started to absorb the surrounding heaven and earth chi of the pure Dream clone in a frenzy and grew rapidly. The pure Dream clone put in Dream Armor Immortal Gu and the rest, quickly soothing the 3 chi and stabilizing the newly created Blessed Land. The Blessed Land was completed, even though it was not comparable to the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, it was a super-grade Blessed Land, far beyond high grade. The complete pure Dream clone had a 10 extreme physique, thus, it was not strange to have a super-grade Blessed Land that only 10 extreme physiques could obtain. With the Blessed Land, a portion of heaven and earth chi still remained. The pure Dream clone used the chance to refine his vital Gu. The Dream Butterfly Mortal Gu that he tossed in earlier was his vital Gu. During the resonance with heaven and earth earlier, he learned of 3 Dream Path Immortal Gu recipes from natural inspiration. Dream Butterfly Immortal Gu was one of them. Dream Butterfly Immortal Gu successfully became rank 6, Fang Yuan finally had a total of 4 Dream Path Immortal Gu now. After the Immortal Gu was refined, new Dream Path Tribulations appeared in the Blessed Land, but the might was far lower than the Immortal Ascension Tribulation. This time, Fang Yuan's main body did not need to do anything. Fang Yuan gave Dreaming Immortal Gu to the pure Dream clone, the latter used the 3 Immortal Gu to pass the tribulation. Dreamy light smoke of the otherworldly guest. Calling out the inner soul of my nightly dream. Even if this is not fated for 100 years. I leave behind this mortal shell to seek reality in my dream. After the tribulation, the pure Dream clone sang his poem. He placed his palm by his chest, bowing at the main body. From today onwards, my name is Meng Qiu Zhen, 1. Fang Yuan laughed, good name. Meng Qiu Zhen, show me your Dream Path Blessed Land. He was very interested in the Dream Path Blessed Land. This Dream Path Super-Grade Blessed Land had a total of 8,000 square kilometers of land, the rate of time was 46 times, the Immortal Aperture Origin Core would produce 55 Green Grape Immortal Essence each year. This was the standard of a super-grade Blessed Land, there was nothing out of the norm. The truly satisfactory thing for Fang Yuan was the special environment of the Blessed Land. This is the best location to nurture Dream Path Immortal material, the potential for development is huge, it did not disappoint me after all. After some observation, Fang Yuan was quite satisfied. The severe lack of Dream Path Immortal materials had always troubled him. With this Dream Path Immortal Aperture, he had a foundation to develop more immortal materials. Throughout history, the signature development of a new path was the emergence of Gu Immortals that cultivate the path. Because of the unique and enclosed environment, the Gu Immortals' immortal aperture could rapidly grow a large amount of immortal materials of that path. These immortal materials would flow into the market and push the path to prosper and progress. 1. Literally Dream Reality Seeker, he uses a part of the physique as his name, this is also what the last part of the poem refers to. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.